Hey, it's Mike Hawk. Join me every Thursday at 1 p.m. exclusively on the Odyssey app as we go live with Odyssey. Join in on the action as we cover interesting facts, top 10 lists, and some fun new games. Follow the Men's Room page on the Odyssey app and join in all the fun Thursday afternoons at 1.
Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this radio program are simply not that bright, or what some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose. And all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the Men's Room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say, shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the Men's Room.
And away we go. Welcome to Season 18, episode number 3,910. Along with Steve the Thrill Hill, the Ted Smith, and Mike Hawk. Montgomery! And you are the Men's Room. On tap today, the return of Who Sucks Less. We will play Profile This, plus headlines, the Men's Room shot of the day, fun with listener emails, and everyone's favorite, TV Time with Ted.
Click, clack.
Ringing the drum. All right, here we go. Speeding Florida cop gets pulled over by another officer, so he decides to speed away. Meanwhile, an Illinois man has a strange reason that he can't come to work that day. After 2 failed landing attempts, passengers asked for a different pilot to fly the plane. Having an Area 51 license plate is driving one Nevada resident insane. And in Philadelphia's historic Fort Mifflin, where someone stole a cannon. That is all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. All right? Your job, drinking, drugs, school, a relationship, social media, athletics, drinking, smoking, going to the gym, eating meat, being a vegetarian, the church, shaving, taking bad advice, toxic friendships, living somewhere that you hate. All of these are things that people have quit or are actively considering quitting. And everyone has their own reasons for quitting any of these things, although usually it comes down to 3 things: your mental health, your physical health, or just disenfranchisement, right? But on the bright side, people usually quit one thing or another with the idea that better things are ahead. Now, that may or may not prove to be true, but we've all quit something. Maybe you've quit several somethings. And today, we want to know what led up to the moment that you just said, enough's enough, right? It doesn't matter what it is, but at some point you go, I cannot do this anymore. And frankly, I don't have to. And that's what quitting comes down to. So that's what today's question is. We want to know, what did you quit and why did you quit it?
Be a part of the big show. Call 206-803-ROCK. Like the Men's Room on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Men's Room Live. And send your emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
All the shows, away we go. Welcome to Season 18, episode number 3,910. What a large and in charge program we have for you today. Guaranteed future repeat, the exciting return of Who Sucks Less, Steve. I don't know how you do it. You find people in the news who are doing bad things.
It is tough, man.
I'm sure it takes you hours and hours and hours to find those idiots out there.
Now, some people think you just go to a news site and it's right there. It's not. I'm telling you, you got to dig deep to find dumb people doing horrible things.
It's almost like you could just do the local news edition on a daily basis.
Good God.
On Who Sucks Less. How are we looking this week on the stories?
I think it's bad.
Oh.
I think it's bad. I'm sorry, guys. I think it's bad. Look, I had like 12 of them. And this morning I got here a little early, honest to God, to figure out which 3 I'm going to go with.
Okay.
So I tried to buy 3 that were kind of similar, I guess. One, sadly enough, I don't know what's going on with Sherpas lately. People just aren't loving their Sherpas. Like the Sherpas, you climb Mount Everest. Look, if you could do it by yourself, do it by yourself. But you can't. So you have a Sherpa, right? The Sherpa helps you out, hooks you up. You get all the credit for doing what the Sherpa does every day. And then you poop on them when they're done, man. Yeah, so we got more Sherpas.
That's kind of That's the unwritten secret of climbing that mountain. They've never treated those Sherpas correctly.
They didn't, but it just seemed maybe we're just hearing about it now. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Then we got a guy who just made a decision to be violent for no reason, but it's more the target of his attack that will bug you. And then, I don't know, people buying into the hype and losing their mind publicly.
All right.
When you really, if it's an issue, sometimes you keep it quiet. You talk to people on the side. Don't make it an issue in front of children at a track meet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I read about that one.
Yeah.
That was absolutely ridiculous.
That's what I'm saying. Like, hey, man, you got to find.
People are absolutely losing their minds.
That's what I mean. And they're wrong.
Yeah.
You were wrong. That's
I know. Look, I read the news, but I know for a fact that within the past 5 to 10 years, people have absolutely lost their minds on what is acceptable behavior.
Yeah.
In various scenarios, in various locations. I mean, you don't attack someone and jump over the counter because they forgot the cheese on your sandwich.
No, apparently you do, Miles.
You don't crawl through a drive-through window because there's too much ice in your soda and punch the worker in the face. People have lost their damn minds. I don't understand it. And it's not like they say, well, this person was intoxicated at the time. Half the time they just flip the hell out.
Right.
They're not even on drugs or anything crazy. You're like, man, I'm sorry, I apologize. I was on a bender or whatever the deal is. No, they just did it.
They stick to the story. I did not want that much ice.
Yeah. A guy just shot his buddy in a hotel room in Las Vegas. You know why? Because he took his $20 gambling voucher. That's what he thought. So he shoots him in the hotel room.
Yeah?
People are crazy.
I think we just see it now.
You think that's all it is?
Well, again.
You hear about it more.
Again, I mean, I watched my father walk into McDonald's, scream at them and say, I will jump over this effing counter.
Right.
Or I will sit in this drive-thru and ruin your whole day. So I'm like, oh, these people have always been out there.
Fair enough.
That's, again, personal point of view.
Fair enough.
You think your father's like the godfather of the fast food freakout?
I just know it was a hot button for him.
Right.
I mean, a lot
From
of
experience.
things were.
From experience.
But fast food, like he's not pulling over to wait for that fish fillet.
Right. Yeah. Oh, no. People quit things for various reasons, and there's a reason behind why you quit.
Sure.
And like it could be a job, it could be a relationship, it could be a lot of different things. I have quit a handful of things in my life under circumstances that were a little bit more out of my control than not.
Sure.
As far as just stupid stuff, like I know Mike over there is a proud Eagle Scout.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I was 17 years old and I was in the Scouts, and I had enough merit badges, and I had everything I needed to do, except for the fact that I needed to complete my Eagle Scout project.
Right.
Which is the very last thing
that's like your senior thesis of the Scout world.
And
right?
I had a project, and I had it approved, and I was ready to do all the things. And then my Scoutmaster got busted molesting one of the kids in our troop.
Jesus. So you're just like, forget it.
So
whatever.
At that point, I was just a little bit disheartened by my troop.
Sure.
And by not Scouts as a whole, but in my instance on that one, I'm like, because I could have transferred
I think that
to a
falls
different troop.
under the disenfranchisement. Like I said, mental health, physical health, that's very disenfranchising.
Yeah. And I had no problem walking away at that point in time because I knew the kid and I felt bad for him. And I knew the Scoutmaster, and I knew he was a little bit weird, but I didn't know what weird levels he was going to.
Sure.
So at that point in time, I'm like, you know what, man? F it.
But you also
I don't even know if I'd count that as quitting, though.
Well, I did. But I mean, I could have gone to another troop. And
you could have, but that's that might be one of the most valid reasons to stop doing something I've ever heard in my life.
And you already proved that you could do the thing that you set out to do.
Right.
But it's only proof you just had to do it. This guy made his decisions in life, and obviously that has a palpable effect on the rest of the troop. But to me, if you already proved what it is you know you can do, fine.
And I think it hurts more, and it would feel like quitting now because you work with an actual Eagle Scout.
You can sit there and hold it over your head the whole time.
You got to look at him the whole show. He's right in front of you.
I mean, he does have that Eagle Scout glow about it.
Did you get your picture? Did you get your picture in the paper or one of those newsletters? Typically, if you make Eagle Scout, they kind of make it a big deal in the local community.
Oh, no, it was just me.
They didn't take your picture or anything?
What about in the Edom Call?
Whatever, just the
Herald.
The Beak.
The Courier Herald?
The Courier Herald.
I delivered those papers, and no, my
and
face
they
was
didn't
not on
put your ass
No
on
way.
there.
No.
Come
No.
on. How many Eagle Scouts?
Wait a minute. You were an Eagle Scout. You worked for them and they didn't put your picture in the paper?
Correct.
What a waste of time.
What percentage of your Boy Scout brethren also made it to Eagle Scout? Because, look, my freshman year in high school, there's 600 of us. By the time we graduated, there was 8, right? Because Baltimore said, you're dumb. So I'm wondering, did everybody get there?
No, I feel
you're
like
1%er, 10%er?
We had about... To be honest with you, I remember going to a handful of Eagle Scout ceremonies for a lot of my guys. So I think we had like a 60%
Okay, not bad.
Because it comes in waves. When you go from Cub Scouts to Boy Scouts, you're going to shed off a whole lot of guys.
You got to do the Weeblo thing.
And then the Boy
Scouts.
What does Weeblo mean?
We be loyal Scouts.
Are you serious?
Yes.
And nobody said.
It literally means we be
loyal Scouts.
What, did they come up with this in Harlem? I mean, my God, man. And nobody said, hey man. I think people, how about we call Weeblos?
But you're going to shed a lot of those guys off.
We be loyal Scouts. Are you serious?
We need to walk with your hand like this.
Seriously, look it up. I can show you.
Hey, my brother. We be loyal Scouts.
I mean, the Scouts are. Those hoes ain't.
Damn. I guess they weren't big on like.
No, we'll be loyal Scouts.
We'll
If somebody said to me, I'd be loyal, I'd be like, you're lying. You are lying right now.
Why is there an English merit badge? If this is the case.
But no, you know,
I'm good for it.
A lot of those kids kind of branch off after you get into the Boy Scouts, and then as they settle into what the Boy Scouts actually is, you start losing a handful more. So by the time you get to the age of 16, that's when a lot more guys, they have a few more important things that are on their mind at the age of 16.
Correct.
And so they'll just start.
You mean the penis, Mike?
Yeah, it's exactly
and
right.
what they can do with it.
And that was actually one thing that my old man pressed on me when I got into Boy Scouts and when I committed to it. He was like, make sure that you get your Eagle Scout before you're 16 years old because of that very reason.
You will be distracted.
Right, you're going to get a car, you're going to get a job, you're going to get a girlfriend, you're going to be distracted in these things.
Why don't they change some of the merit badges?
How's that?
Right? So you hurt 16, you're still in the ball. Get laid. You know what I mean? I'm an Eagle Scout,
It's
brother.
a Christian organization.
Christians have sex. That's how they keep populating.
Not premarital.
That's right. That's fornicating, man.
All right, get your fornication merit badge. I got my license merit badge. I got my first summer job merit badge.
I'll tell you right now.
You keep some guys in there. I know it sounds to maybe you could drop the fornication. You shouldn't, but you can if you need to.
You got some boob merit badge.
I saw my first boob merit badge.
My mom
and I could touch it.
My mom
and it wasn't grandma because she leaned over. This was someone I didn't know.
Second base badge.
Yeah, my mom.
Badges for each base.
My mom was a incredible religious person growing up.
Yeah.
She was very hardcore, raised in a Christian. She still is very much a Christian. She did not drink. She did not smoke, but she had lots of sex.
Oh, sure.
I mean, that was her thing. That was what. I mean, it's my mom I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Like,
we know.
A Christian woman, right? One thing she does.
Oh, we know.
I know one thing for a fact. Mom had sex.
I do think they should have the merit badge per base.
Oh, God.
Why not?
Give it up for Ted. He got his third.
Oh, sorry.
You don't have to be so graphic.
My bad voice.
We understand what third base is. Without the explanation, Ted.
Follow our TikTok page at Men's Room Live.
Woot woot.
We were having so much fun. I kind of forgot this thing was on.
Oh my God.
Yeah, see, we're all going to get thrown out. Group project,
brother.
project.
The show is suspended.
Yep.
We be loyal.
How many jobs have you guys quit?
I did the quick math today. So there's a thing that says the average dude will have 12 and a half jobs in his lifetime. Mm-hmm. I am on job 13, including this one. I don't plan to quit. Possibility of being fired, thanks, Ted, goes up exponentially, depending on what we're talking about. But I quit. If this is my third, I quit 11 of them. I was fired from 2 of them.
Okay.
Yeah, fired from 2. Although one job that I had, I was fired a total of 4 times. It was the radio job in Baltimore. But every time I got up to leave, because once a guy said, "You're fired," like I would physically get up and leave. Then, where are you going? I'm like, dude, you just fired me. Well, finish your shift. I'm not going to finish my shift if you fire me. All right, you're not fired. It's happened 4 times. Same dude.
Who was the dude?
Who do you think it is?
Oh, okay. All right.
Exactly who the hell you think
Same guy
it is.
the same guy that tried to fire us, but we quit.
Yeah. You fired, but we already quit, man.
No, man, we quit. Yeah, you got to get out of here right now. Okay.
Because we're leaving.
We put it in 2 weeks. You want us to leave right now? Seriously? You're going to pay us for that? Awesome.
All right. We're out. We quit.
We're out.
Yeah, so I got fired.
I think my line was, I'm not even full time. I don't have to put it 2 weeks.
Yeah.
All right, I quit.
Yeah, no.
I'm just leaving.
No, you're fired. But, we're quitting. This is not how it works. He fired me 4 times, but I never lost the job. So I discounted that. But 2 other jobs, I actually got fired.
I think I've only quit
3 other jobs. I forgot one of the jobs that I had. So, yes, I got fired from my 14th job, as it were. Okay.
All right.
I think I've only quit 2 jobs.
All right.
The same one with you guys.
No, you're fired.
I left. Wouldn't call whatever.
What do you mean I left? We weren't going quitting. I just left and never came back.
Right.
Well, we did it the right way. We put into we had planned. We
did. We put in 2 weeks.
We were being kind of pushed out the door anyway. So we had an escape plan, which is when Howard Stern, we were on a radio station with Howard Stern in the morning, and then we were on in the midday. Don and Mike were on in the afternoon, and Tom Likas was on at night.
Correct.
And what happened was that when Howard went to satellite.
Ron and Fez.
Ron and Fez.
We didn't have Likas.
Oh, that's right. We had Ron and Fez.
Yeah.
That's correct.
I remember we had Likas for a hot minute at night.
Yeah, like late
at
late
night.
Late.
That's right.
Yeah, right. And we had him here as well. Yeah. So.
Maybe.
So, but they were kind of trying to figure out what to do with the radio station. They really didn't have a concrete plan. They're trying to figure out what to do with mornings. But one thing we did know was they wanted to hire one of the ex-police chief officers. That was one of the plans. They had a bunch of different things that they were going to do, but we knew that they really didn't like the show that much. So we were kind of trying to figure out.
No. They were fine with the show. They didn't like us.
They didn't like us at all. No, they really didn't. I think it was the question, why do you hate white people? But it was tongue-in-cheek. It wasn't really like we were making a joke, because it was this website at the time called Things White People Do.
Yeah.
So we were just doing yogurt, yoga, all the Y things.
Do you know who asked us to stop, Mike?
No.
The NAACP.
Oh,
Yeah, we were like, what? But
yeah, the boss comes in the middle of the show and he goes, get in here. You know who just called me? We're like, who? The NAACP. We're like, why did they call you? Why do you hate white people? We just thought it was funny. Right. Like volleyball. Right. I don't know. It was that kind of thing. It was like
the NAACP call. We're like, this is so confusing to us now.
Skiing.
Bowling.
I know. Yeah. And that's all anyone said.
Golf.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it was a joke. The whole thing was a joke. Yeah, they were
bunting.
Right.
Goddamn.
Assist.
Right. A true natural point guard.
He never seems to shoot. He's so unselfish.
We're all unselfish players.
Exactly.
The only thing
Get in here.
Foul shots.
Right. He's good at those.
Right.
Very disciplined.
That's why they never.
Exactly.
They never foul him.
Yeah,
because they know he's going to hit.
You'll never see him get called for carrying a basketball.
You ever seen a dude take 3 charges?
That's my guy right there.
That's my guy.
That's my guy. Yeah, they didn't like that. We had to change the show in the middle of it.
I know.
It's kind of hard when you got a 4-hour show and you plan to do the show, and then all of a sudden you got nothing.
That's how it was there, man.
Exactly. Our question, what did you quit and why did you quit it? 206-803-ROCK.
99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
What did you quit and why did you quit it? 206-803-ROCK.
Read the top one.
The top one?
What did people quit? You guys were talking about Boy Scouts. And
she said with a smile.
We saw your text there. Some of the other texts that came in, it says, what did I quit? The Boy Scouts.
Another one.
It says, back in my day, you had to get a swimming badge to go from second class to first class. I couldn't swim. I could not afford lessons. I grew tired of being second class with multiple merit badges. So what is the difference between second class and first class in the Scout?
Second class comes first, then first class, then Star, then Life, then Eagle Scout. Is the order of the
So if you can't get the swimming badge, it's impossible to move. You can't do other badges to move forward?
You can't step up until you get some of the core things taken care of.
Okay. Someone else says, let's see here. I made cold call fundraising calls in college. I made the mistake of dating a coworker. Well, right after we broke up, she was promoted to my supervisor and started dating the guy who sat next to me. It was unbearable. I had to quit.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, man, that gets rough. Hello, Daniel. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola, gentlemen. How are we doing today?
Hola.
Awesome. So I quit smoking, and my official last cigarette was September 30th, 2017.
Nice. Wow.
Oh, there you go.
So you've stuck to it.
No. Well, I quit it. I quit everything cold turkey, so I haven't really picked up any more bad habits, and I couldn't even smoke weed because I'm a truck driver. So, yeah,
Okay.
I just drink beer.
Just so you know, man. All right. So as far as quitting smoking goes, because everyone who's tried to quit, Miles, you've tried a couple of times. I did it once as part of a bet. I was not dying to quit smoking, but I went about 3 months thinking, all right, well, I'll smoke again. So it says, apparently, they say research suggests that smokers make an average of 30 attempts before they successfully quit smoking. That's one study.
right.
Another study shows that for many tobacco users, it takes an average of 6 or more attempts to quit. And then the CDC says they suggest anywhere from 8 to 11 times before quitting permanently.
Right. I believe it.
Which is, yeah. I mean,
believe it.
that is the one where I've met many, many, many people that have quit smoking. And within a few months, hey, man, can I bum a cigarette? And generally, my rule is no. I don't want to be the first person to give you a cigarette if you quote-unquote quit. If they say, look, I choked one down earlier, bet on my game on.
All right.
But I always do that, man, if you quit, I'm not going to be the first guy.
It's like when someone stops drinking and they want to have a beer with you.
Like, no.
And you're like, not
with
especially
me.
when they're married or something like that, where they have somebody else that's, that the other person involved or whatever. I did.
If we're in a big group and I see you having a drink, I'm not going to say anything. If it's just you and me, I'm absolutely not going to do it. So, Daniel, how many attempts did you make to quit? You said just cold turkey.
So I made the actual decision back in 2015 because I was with a girlfriend that had asthma. And so I swapped over to vaping, but I was a truck driver, and the vaping pens at the time would always get horribly clogged. So I fought through it as much as I could, but I had a really bad day and some snow, and I had to smoke some cigarettes.
Just so you know, just hear me out on this one. They did a study on occupation-based life expectancy.
All right.
Okay, so they looked at all different kinds of jobs, and obviously there are more dangerous jobs than others, and they did take those into consideration. But most people aren't crab fishermen, loggers,
right,
all those different things. So basic stuff. They found people working in skilled work in general, technical, and drivers. Transport drivers lived on average 3.5 years less than those in other academic professions or other professions. Those working in a
it raises our blood pressure because we're behind stupid drivers all the time.
Yeah, 3.5 years less. But the lowest is the transportation sector. They have the shortest life expectancy of any job. Teachers, by the way, have the longest life expectancy.
That's why your teachers seem like they're a million years old. So
they also get 3 months off a year.
Is it traffic? I mean...
No, it's things like the sedentary lifestyle, diet, deep vein thrombosis, and other issues that you can have. They say, like, you shouldn't be sitting at your desk all day. Truck drivers, if you're a long hauler,
choice.
You're a long hauler.
Exactly.
You're going to be in that thing for 8 or 9 hours, just sitting on your ass.
I'm
Sometimes
curious,
longer.
Yep.
What brand of cigarette did you smoke?
Oh, I was a Camel Crushes, but not the light blue kind because I didn't like the double menthol. I loved having the dark blue one because I'd always take a straight hit of just the regular unmenthol tobacco, and then I'd crush it. So, yeah, I could reward myself.
Okay.
So that was my brand. I used to smoke Cools, but I had a friend in college who's like, hey, you want to kill your lungs? Kill your lungs right.
There you go.
All right,
fair enough.
Life goals.
Good on you, though, man. That's 6 years. That's definitely...
That's good.
Someone else says, I quit smoking cold turkey 26 years ago.
Nice.
That's pretty amazing. Oh, by the way, Ted, some other texts came in. We had to dump you earlier. So we were joking about the base-based merit badges. Get the first base, second base, third base, fourth base. I believe you were quoting third base, but the comment you made, maybe it's not something we can put on the airwaves. However, we found out a couple of people said, let's see here. Ted, that was priceless, what you said. I'm listening on the Odyssey app, and I heard what Ted had to say. I'm also listening on the Odyssey app. I heard what Ted had to say, because the Odyssey app.
If you listen on the Odyssey app, you see you don't get the dump.
Yeah, if you listen on Odyssey, you can hear all the things that we have to dump off the program.
And you can be entered to win some tickets.
You can every time you sign up. As soon as you get on that free Odyssey app, a chance to win tickets to Ghost for every single hour. Not only do you get to hear the F-bombs and Ted talk about pleasuring a woman, but you also have a chance to win tickets to see Ghost August the 4th, Friday night at White River Amphitheater.
Do they hear the sound effect too?
I think they hear everything. That's the difference. We asked Castle about this yesterday. So same commercial breaks. If you're listening in the Seattle area, you hear the same commercials that we play here. If you're listening, I don't know, in Kansas City, you get a different batch of commercials. But otherwise, they hear everything unfiltered. So they heard what you said.
On the Odyssey app.
On Odyssey.
I'd see
Ted did to a woman.
I did not mess up on the air. I was trying to boost
the Odyssey listening.
The Odyssey app.
I see, yeah.
The method to the madness, Miles. You know this.
So
that's how we cross-promote. Like the Men's Room Happy Hour coming up exclusively on Odyssey.
Boom! When HR sits you down, you can say, no, man, I'm promoting the app.
I'm doing what you told me to do.
Exactly.
That too.
What did you quit? Why did you quit at 206-803-ROCK?
Well, we get some bad press that you haven't been doing stuff.
Well, people freak out on the text, say, like, man, I heard that.
It's like, right, if you're listening on the app, you heard whatever happened.
You did hear that. If you're listening on radio, that's fine. You're just not going to hear that stuff because we can't put it out over the air.
That is correct.
Unlike the Men's Room Happy Hour coming up exclusively on Odyssey.
That's going to be a long day, people. Letting you know now.
It's not going to get old fast.
Hello, Andrew. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola.
Hola.
Hi, guys. How you doing?
We're doing great, man. Thank you, brother.
So I quit candy and soda for it's been about 5 years now.
I guess the doctor told you to.
No, I actually quit because I was on American Ninja Warrior and I saw myself on the camera and I saw on how fat I was.
What, on American Ninja Warrior?
Yeah, when they came to Tacoma, I went and did it and I got on and it was horrible.
I mean, what was your name? Because my kids watch that show pretty religiously, therefore I watch it with them. So would I recognize you from American Ninja? I'm sorry, American Ninja Warrior, since that's the only way that guy can say it.
No, you wouldn't have recognized me on that, but when Akmar did his little segment of dancing, you would have saw me dancing with the American Ninja Warriors, and you could see on how huge I was.
Okay,
well, how much did you weigh?
At that time, I was a little over, what was it, about 300 and something pounds.
On American Ninja Warrior?
You ain't sneaking up on anybody.
Yeah, well, and then I still got through 4 obstacles before I fell in the water.
Really?
All right.
Well, I've done a lot of obstacle courses, from Tough Mudders to things. All you guys, I do them all the time.
That is impressive, man, because any time that someone bigger, and when I say bigger or heavier, I don't mean 300-some pounds. I'm saying if you weigh 200 pounds and you're all muscle, they still comment that this is going to be difficult just because of all the arm strength, et cetera, et cetera. Right?
How much soda were you drinking a day?
Well, soda, it was between 2 to 3 different Cokes or Mountain Dews or anything like that. And then I was going through like a pound of Jelly Bellies a day then Red Vines and everything like that. I mean, I was close to being on the border of diabetic. And then I just completely went cold turkey.
And you're telling us, but you saw yourself on American Ninja Warrior. I'm sorry, again, American Ninja Warrior. And then decided, man, I need to lose weight, which is a good thing. That's a good thing.
Oh, yeah. When I took pictures with American Ninja Warriors right next to Barclay Stockton, my whole face was bigger than her whole body.
What did they think? What did the other Ninja Warriors say when they see you roll up? Because most of them are like rock climbers, or they used to be in gymnastics or crap like that. I mean, these people weigh 150 pounds, and then your big ass rolls in. I mean, did you get weird looks? Did they think you were there as a prank or what?
No, because I held my weight well. Nobody really noticed on how big I really was. And they were just like, okay, maybe he's an athletic. And then all of a sudden when they see me like tear through it, like I got through those first 3 obstacles in like not even a minute.
What's the one that dumped you? What's the obstacle you couldn't get past?
It was kind of like, what was it? The monkey bars that was mixed up, and then you had to like shimmy over side here, all this other stuff. It was killing everybody that day. And I just got dumped, and I was like, all right, I went in the water, but at least give it a shot.
What are you down to now?
I dropped 137 pounds from July of 2019 to 2021. You guys have actually seen me. I'm the one that wears the Golden Girls pink shirt when we go to the Pain in the Grass.
Okay, I have seen it before. Mm-hmm. Would you do American Ninja Warrior again?
I would do it in a heartbeat, but I also do the Tough Mudders. I'll do any obstacle course run. I keep trying to get Ted to come do one with me, but he won't.
You know why? Because it's not fun.
Andrew, my bad.
I will say this: when you could look at yourself in a mirror every day and say, "All right, I'm getting some weight," or whatever the deal is, and what you see in the mirror is you. So you don't really think. I don't know what it is about a mirror. You don't really get discouraged when you're looking in a mirror, even if you let yourself go.
Because you only see yourself.
But
for me, it was the sciaticas. I started getting sciaticas on both sides.
Okay. Oh, Jesus. But when I see a picture of myself, or if I see myself on camera or film, then that's where I go, oh, dude. You need to cut some weight because you don't look good.
Well, I think part of it too. You got to remember when you're looking in a mirror, even though it's a 2-dimensional surface, you still kind of see yourself in 3 dimensions. A picture is a straight up 2-dimensional. So this is what you are to the camera's eye. So everyone gets a little wider. But when you see yourself next to other people, I'm the only guy that looks like blank, or whatever the case might be. That goes along.
Well, it's also like when you leave a voicemail, or you hear yourself. You hear your voice.
Oh God!
When I hear my voice, I hear what I interpret my voice to sound like. Mm-hmm. When I'm walking down the hallway and we're playing a commercial with my voice on, I'm like, that's not what I hear when I talk. That does not
Now
sound...
you know why we're so annoyed every time.
Right.
That's why we roll our eyes.
You know what I mean? It's
but it's true.
Nobody is.
Nobody hears their voice for what it is. And they said it's just all the blood in your head, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So by the time your ears hear your voice, the way it's filtered is different.
It's not the same.
Right. Then when you hear it out loud, it's like, Jesus Christ, that's what I sound like.
Like, I don't know.
Man. Yeah, at least you have a deeper voice. Mine's gotten deeper over the years, but I mean, I have a pretty high pitch for a man.
But what do you hear in your head? Is it...
it's like sex.
Hey, bro. You got to wonder what every
day. One woman. Hey, girl.
I know.
Hey, you know I love you.
What's really good with you?
How you doing? My name is D-Test, man.
You sound like Shaq in your head.
When did you quit it? Why did you quit it? 206-803, Rob.
I mean, yeah, I hunt. Chicago advocates.
That's what Ted hears.
See. Sausage is awesome. Hey, minis.
Get responsibly.
Only on the Odyssey app.
Why did you quit and why did you quit it? 206-803 Rock.
Hello, Showin. Welcme to the men's room.
Hello.
Hola.
Hello.
So what did you quit?
What did you quit?
I quit a marriage of 12 years recently.
How long were you in a marriage of 12 years? Why did you quit?
Yep. I quit because it cost me my serenity and questioned my sanity.
All right,
so
fair enough.
It wasn't like one incident. It was just a build-up over time where you're just like, I can't take this anymore.
Yeah, it's definitely a mutual combatant.
All right, well, so she was down with it as well then.
Yeah, she's actually, I flew her out here after we've been separated for 3 or 4 years, just recently, like a month ago from North Carolina, and I did my best, but I guess my best wasn't good enough, so now I had bought her a car and gave her a couple $1,000, and I'm meeting her in like 10 minutes at Costco in Lacey and filling up her tank and giving her some more cash and saying, here you go, see ya.
Are you done after that? I mean, look, brother, I'd marry you if you keep giving me cash.
Where did you, look, you're getting divorced in Washington State, correct?
Yeah, we got legal separation just done a couple days ago, but I'm going to get it. It's totally intact. I mean, when we were separated, I opened my own business, and the bottom line is, I'm in recovery, and I don't play. There's no gray area in my world. And she doesn't really want to be that way. And I'm good with that. I mean, I tried. I love the hell out of the girl, but, when it comes right down to it, I got to look out for me and what I got going on.
Yeah. What is your recovery from? Drugs, alcohol, what?
More. It didn't matter as long as there's more of it.
Okay. All right. No, you're right. In that case, there is no gray area.
You can't cohabitate like that.
No.
I mean, if you have to make that decision, you have to make that decision. So.
Yeah, I mean, I just recently went to a silent auction, and we had a steak dinner, and I had a drink. I had one sip. I don't drink ever. That's not my drug of choice. I didn't like it. I finished my auction. I bought my fireworks with my little paddle, and I was good. But it turned into a thing to where she wanted to drink every day. And she just got to the point where I figured, I couldn't make her happy, and I figured she probably wanted to use. So I just said, you know what? I bought you a car. I'm going to give her the title here in about 15 minutes when I meet her at the Costco. And, God's grace can be with her. Hopefully she makes it back where she's going. If she calls, she's going to get more money from me. I have no problem taking care of her because I love her. But it's just not there for me. You know what I mean? I wish her the best in life. I really do.
Yeah, of course. You wouldn't be with somebody you didn't want to be with,
Sure.
So,
well, man, I don't think anyone's going to dispute why you made the decision you made. Mm-hmm. That's a pretty solid one. Like, I'm trying to recover. Look, she does, and that's of her own volition. It's her own business. Doesn't matter. But you can't be together.
But you feel better about yourself when you get rid of stuff in your life that's not good. You feel better. Like the other night, I got on Twitter and I was like, "This, I can't do this anymore. I can't read this stuff anymore. It's driving me absolutely up the wall." I know that's responsible for me and who I follow, but like anything else, your timeline's your timeline. Elon puts up whatever he wants to put up there, and you're reading all this crap, and I'm like, you know what? I'm done. I can't remember. I've been on maybe a year after you, Ted.
Yeah, you've been on for a while.
So I don't know, but we're over 10 years on that thing, or we were.
I think I just had my 11-year anniversary.
So I was probably.
I don't know.
I was probably.
I quit it too. Castle quit it. The next day, I quit it. I was like, no, you're right. I don't need it.
But I feel better. Like I'm not reading all that crap.
I do too.
I'm not reading all that crap every day.
By the way, somebody here says I had to quit radio and get the Odyssey app after all those plugs. See there, worse.
What did you quit it? Why did you quit it? 206-803-ROCK.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Some of these pretty crazy. From BuzzFeed.com. Reasons why people quit their job. I used to work at a hotel, food and beverage in Disneyland. A really horrible family was making their way around the fine dining locations on property, wreaking havoc. They ended up at my restaurant with a golden ticket, meaning the location they visited the night before got desperate, trying to make the family happy to the point of telling us to give them whatever they wanted and to charge it to the previous restaurant's count.
Okay.
We took an incredible amount of extra care with everything the family wanted. They still found reasons to send their food back 3 times.
Oh, God.
They complained about everything and demanded we give them another golden ticket to another restaurant. At the end of the night, my manager told me that the entire thing had to be documented somewhere, and it would be done by giving me a write-up. I did absolutely nothing wrong. I've been in the running for a very prestigious position in another department, but the write-up actually took me out of eligibility. So I started looking for another job immediately.
Damn.
And quit 2 weeks later.
Come on, Disney.
What did you quit and why did you quit at 206-803-ROCK?
Disney World's tough. Just if you work there, like you got to put up with a lot, but you're a cast member,
Right. You
So
got to do it.
You got to do it. Like I mean, most restaurants and stuff, you got to put up with some mess, but like Disney, I can't even imagine.
No, I can't. We used to work at the radio show back in Baltimore, and they had the opportunity. Anyway, Disney started Disney Radio, and they had done a fairly wholesome show as far as it were. The Smoke Man and his crew, and they were kind of one of the top running shows to possibly get this gig. And when they came back from the meeting, they were like, "Man, there's nothing wrong with Disney inherently, but they're like, it's too much." You know what I mean? As far as content goes. And they were not an offensive show or anything like that, but Disney has a real strict policy of what you can do. So they said our biggest concern is not necessarily the content, but as our show does, when you kind of grapevine, go off the highway a little bit, because it takes you somewhere else. We're like, we'd be fired in a heartbeat. Damn, man.
What did you quit? Why did you quit it? 206-803-ROCK.
And yet Donald Duck doesn't have to wear pants. I'm just saying, there's a double standard.
Well, sure, but he's grandfathered in.
Okay, now everyone has to wear pants.
Now everybody's got to wear
He
pants.
can show his junk, but everyone else. Hello, Brian. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola. Okay, so when I was about 15, 16 years old, I was a big drinker of energy drinks. I love my caffeination. And so I ended up almost killing myself.
How many were you drinking a day?
On average, I was probably drinking about 48 ounces. But sometimes I'd have up to, 4 24-ounce cans.
And did you have a specific brand or just whatever?
Monster. But I also chased that down with Mountain Dew. I basically drank no water.
Jesus, I chased down my Monster with a Mountain Dew.
What is the first thing that goes wrong with your body? Because you're young at that point in time. So what is starting to happen to you?
So what had happened is first I started feeling kind of lightheaded, and I was like, okay, maybe it'll go away. And it just persisted to get worse. And then suddenly I just felt very cold. I went completely pale. I started feeling pins and needles through my legs, arms, and even into my face.
How long was this process going on?
It went on for, if I had to take a guess, it probably went on for about 4 hours.
Jeez.
Did you know that the energy drinks were what was responsible, or did you just think you were getting sick?
No, I knew it because that morning I proceeded to have 2 energy drinks and then pound 2 cups of coffee back to back. And I was on my way to go help my mom's boyfriend's mom. And on our way there, I was like, I do not feel well. And I basically had to rest the rest of the day. My heart rate was insanely high.
Sounds like you got caffeine poisoning.
Yeah, basically.
Did you go to the hospital for this, or did you just make the decision to stop?
I made the decision to stop. Luckily, I didn't get to the point where I needed to go to the hospital, but it was on that border of I really should have. I still deal with repercussions of it on a regular basis. I suffer from heart palpitations and irregular heartbeat.
And how many years ago did you stop drinking all these energy drinks?
Well, I'm 23 now, so
about 8 years.
That was about 50, yeah, give or take, yeah.
Okay. Are you drinking a lot more water, staying hydrated?
I'm definitely trying to. Soda is definitely one of my kryptonites, but yeah, I try and stay a lot more hydrated and be more conscious of the amount of caffeine I take.
What is your soda of choice now?
It kind of switches normally between like Mountain Dew, Dr. Pepper.
All right, so you're still drinking the Dew.
Yeah.
Sounds like that's the one you can't
definitely
quit.
not as heavy as I used to.
Sure.
All right.
I mean, caffeine and sugar are the two most usually abused drugs in the world.
That's why they don't outlaw it.
Right, and we just don't think about it.
Right, because that's introduced to us. It can be chocolate milk, for God's sakes, right? It has caffeine in it. We still like sugar, all that stuff. And like I said, as long as lawmakers enjoy drinking soda, you know it's going to stay legal. Right?
But as far
that's
as...
basically, but caffeine, that's it. So even like with my kids, my kid likes sodas, and I would let him have Sprite. Still not super healthy, as I drink one right now. But every once in a while, there'll be a Coke in it, right?
It does look good. I love Sprite.
It's delicious, but we won't really let him have Coke. He can have a sip here and there, and he understands why. We've told him, sure, when he hangs out with the grandparents or hangs out with his friends, I'm sure he's crushing them. I know how that works, but just to feel better, the 7 days a week you're in the house around us, no. You know, that's all. That's why, look, man, when you get older and you can make a decision, you can do that. But my job, to a degree, is to protect you. And I don't do the best job ever, but I can control that kind of thing, right?
Right, Sprite and root beer.
Exactly, and he loves root beer.
Which is ironic, because as I've gotten older, I don't drink a ton of sodas, but the only two I really drink are Sprite on the weekends. I'll have Sprite or a mug root beer.
Yeah, I'm pretty much a Sprite guy.
I also like ginger ale, man. I'm getting.
You know what? Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with the ginger.
But how often do you buy it? That's the thing. Every time I have a ginger ale, I'm like, this is good. And then I don't buy it again until my stomach hurts.
Well, it's situational. I will buy a 6-pack, but they're the little teeny tiny cans.
They're the small cans.
And if I get in an airplane, I'm like, oh, it's ginger ale time.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about an airplane. I get on an airplane,
You're
like,
right,
ginger
man.
ale.
On a plane?
For
like,
some reason. Probably because I don't feel well on the return flight most of the time.
That might have something to do with it.
Probably need to sit on my stomach a little bit. On the way there, I still get a ginger ale, though. So it doesn't really change. But I know why I'm getting it on the way back. But
you're right. I'll only drink the little cans of ginger ale. And not for any health reason or something. Just for whatever reason. I feel like if I drink ginger ale, I just want a little teeny tiny can.
That's the portion.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
It's like orange juice.
If I'm not sick, if I have anything ginger, I probably will drink a ginger beer.
I have not had a ginger beer yet.
Really?
I really have not. Man.
Do you like ginger?
I do. I really do like ginger.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Does it taste like ginger and beer? In my mind, that combination.
It's got like the bubbles like a beer would, as opposed to ginger ale, just kind of more like a soda.
Okay.
So there's no booze in it. But it just...
There's no beer, there's no booze in the ginger beer.
No.
I'll be goddamn. All these years.
No, I'm not going to try it then.
Well, no, I'll try it now.
Ginger beer had booze in it?
Well, yeah, they call it beer.
Well, root beer is the same. Root beer is the same.
Okay, fine.
Okay, but we already know that going in.
All right, I know.
Well, most people know ginger beer doesn't have...
I did not know that.
I obviously am not most people.
I've never had one. I didn't know.
But ginger ale? Same thing, guys.
I know.
Well, ginger ale, ginger beer.
Now that you
beer.
pointed out, fine. I just thought there was beer
Okay,
and ginger
ale.
beer.
All right, yeah, whatever.
Fine. Okay, maybe I'm stupid.
So
Either way,
the whole thing's a lie.
The whole damn thing.
I just like that you said, well, root beer, but we knew that going into it. Like, I don't know. I just assumed people knew ginger beer did have booze.
I didn't know. How close is ginger beer to ginger ale?
Man, that's a tough call. It's definitely more ginger.
Okay.
And that's what I'm saying. And it's in a, like, I get the ones, what's it?
So
Reed's?
throw stuff at you.
Yeah, it's like, it's in a bottle. Like, you feel like you're having a beer.
Okay.
Okay.
When did you quit? Why did you quit it? 206-803-ROCK.
I'll add that to you. What did I learn today?
Well, like, if you get a Moscow Mule, one of the ingredients is ginger beer.
Oh, I thought it was a mule.
But the liquor, right, is vodka.
There's no mule in this. It's BS.
No.
That's why I never got a grasshopper. Hello, Raymond. Welcome to the men's room.
Marijuana Madams.
Hola.
Tell me more.
Yeah, so 10 years ago, 2 days, I quit drinking alcohol.
All right.
What was the turning point for you?
Well, I'd spent a lot of time in jail, in and out of jail. And then the last thing was I moved up here to the Seattle area from Klamath Falls and was homeless. and the streets of Seattle is not a good place to be homeless.
There's not a lot of really great cities for being on the streets when you're homeless. But you're saying, would you rather, if you had to be homeless, would you pick Seattle or Niagara Falls?
Seattle.
Yeah,
He's from Klamath Falls.
Klamath Falls.
Oh, Klamath Falls. I thought you said Niagara Falls. Well, hell, still.
Oh, no.
I think they should all go to San Diego where it's nice and sunny.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, if I'm homeless, I'm getting on a Greyhound bus, I'm going to San Diego.
I mean, ironically, you're from Klamath Falls and you don't drink, and I had beer stolen out of my RV in a parking lot in Klamath Falls.
I'd say, Raymond, you might be the only person from Klamath Falls who will not drink.
That's probably a good thought there. And, yeah, I've talked to you before, Ted, about the people stealing the beer out of your motorhome.
I mean, they were only like 4 parking spots over, just enjoying them.
That's the part that kills me. It's like, we stole your beer. We're the guys basically next to you.
Do you still smoke or anything like that?
I do. I've actually been in California sober for 8 years now.
Okay. That works for a lot of people.
What was your drink of choice? Or was it anything that came your way?
The last thing I was drinking was 211 Still Reserves.
Jesus. That's because you're going for the bang for the buck. What when you were incarcerated, was it normally because of alcohol-related incidents?
Every time.
Every time. Wow. Okay. Well, were you getting in fights or just being drunk and disorderly, driving drunk, or just all of it?
You got it.
Okay. Check.
Wow. So you got to let the punch card of drunkenness. All right.
Got a free Subway sub.
Well, good on you, man.
Mm-hmm. Why did you quit? Why did you quit at 206-803-ROCK?
By the way, Miles, we're not alone. Someone else says, I also thought there was alcohol in ginger beer. This is news to me. Ginger beer being alcohol-free is news to me, too. A couple other people. I thank you. But I just assumed. Because, look.
Well, Mike makes a good point with ginger ale, because it still says ale.
Okay, you know what the difference is?
Let's start here.
I think because my parents gave it to me when I was a child, right? So ginger ale, I knew there could not possibly be booze in it. Because my introduction, you're a kid. Root beer, my dad, hey, do you want a sip of root beer? And I was disappointed that it was not beer. But for most of my life, I've known this. But ginger beer, at least in my mind, is fairly new to the drink consumption world. So I just assumed.
It's newer. I think the brand I drink, I think is Jamaican.
Okay.
So it was like, it's big down there. I would also say, too, just when you see it in the grocery store, it's usually with, like, waters and Gatorade.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So
well, I've never shopped for it, so I don't know. Has your son ever had a root beer float?
I think I may have made him one a couple of years ago, because he's down with root beer. I hate root beer. I think a root beer float is one of the best dessert things you can get.
Yeah.
I don't have them all the time, but whenever I have one, I'm like, oh, my God, this is
See, I love root beer, and I love ice cream. I don't like root beer floats.
Really?
Yeah.
How about a Coke float?
Pretty good.
I'm not big on soda in my ice cream.
All right.
Oh, and say it like that, it sounds bad, but it is better than it sounds.
No. I mean, you're right. I said that bad. I'm sure if we were at a restaurant and you ordered me a root beer float, I'd be like, cool.
Yeah.
But I think I would just rather have a milkshake.
All right. Can you separate them, however?
Yeah. Can I get 2 scoops
with the
of
ice cream
vanilla
on the side?
Why did you quit? Why did you quit it? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Jeb. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bitches.
Hola.
What's up? Hey, Ted, congratulations on the karaoke merit badge.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I was listening on the Odyssey app all the way from North Carolina.
Yeah. Busy out here.
That's what happens when you move to the West Coast, Jeb.
He's what they call a spread eagle scout.
Yeah.
No.
You immediately get your diving merit badge.
Out in the weeds.
I'll have to get out there then. Yeah, so what I had to quit was I had to quit sneaking out my window when I was in high school because I got in too much trouble.
So you weren't good at it, but you would keep sneaking out of your window.
Oh, man, I was good at it. I did it about 100-something times until I got caught once.
That's all it takes.
Very subtle. Yeah, all it took was once. It was very subtle how my mom told me. One night I was about to go rendezvous with a girl her mom would come and pick me up, which I thought was cool at like 1 a.m. I just ran down to my driveway.
Wait. The girl that you're earning a merit badge with, her mom would pick you up at 1 a.m.
Every Tuesday night, Bill.
Oh, man.
I love you, Betty Jean.
It was awesome.
All right, good times.
Yeah, but I opened up my window to get out of there, and I looked in the sill, and it said, hey, Jeb, whenever you're sneaking out, watch out for snakes outside while you're walking around. And I said, oh, crap, they caught me. And I shut the window, and I texted the girl. I said, hey, don't come get me. I'm in trouble.
And so, did you get in trouble that night? Did your mom wait until the next morning, or how did that go down?
So I was a dummy, and I waited a couple weeks and did it again. And so they wouldn't catch me on my way out, but as my way back in, I got a little bit too comfortable walking through the front door. And she was up one night, and I strolled in. She was like, "Where the heck were you?" But, man, I would do whatever I wanted to. It was during COVID, so, like, dude, I only went to school 2 days a week in high school. So I was just out every single night doing whatever I wanted to. It was awesome.
Okay. My life was not like that,
No,
but
man.
I wish it was. So, by the way, were you on the first or second floor?
Oh, first floor.
Okay.
And it was right next to my parents' bedroom, but there was like an air conditioning unit that was always running. It was super loud.
So wait, if you snuck out of your window on the first floor, why wouldn't you sneak back through your window instead of going through the front door?
Sketch.
I'll tell you what, man. I used to have. Do you remember those fire ladders that were kind of they had chains on them, and you just put them under your bed or whatever, in case of it, whatever.
Yeah, you throw them out the window.
I'm on the second floor. I would gently lower that thing, try to keep the chains from banging, whatever. But the time that I got caught was because it was a windstorm that night, and you keep the ladder down.
Yeah, of course,
because I was not going to go through the front door, which is right by my parents. So I said, all right, I'll just go right up the ladder again. And apparently, the ladder was banging up against the side of the house. And then when I walked outside, we're like, what in the hell? What in the hell?
That's there's a ladder to an open window.
In the front of the house. In the front, facing the street. Facing the street. With a street light right in front of my house.
Jesus,
so,
dude.
It was like our house was lit up like a 7-Eleven. I mean, there's no way you couldn't see that damn thing. But it was 1 o'clock in the morning, Wednesday night, whatever the deal is. I'm safe, right?
You out there getting a merit badge as well?
No, I was out meeting friends.
See, that's the dumb thing.
I mean, man,
I feel like
trust me.
if I busted my son sneaking out the window, right? What were you doing? Well, Dad, with Sarah Jean, I'd be like, don't. But I feel you, right? I understand that call of the wild more than just to go drink with your stupid friends. Like, sorry, man.
We weren't even doing that. We were just roaming around the neighborhood, seeing what we could get into.
Really?
Half the time we'd break into the church and play basketball. We knew how to get in. We did not do any damage to the church whatsoever. We just did turn on the lights. We could play some hoops for a couple hours, turn the lights off when we left, walk out, close the door. That was our thing.
That's not the worst thing.
No.
We got to grow up in worse neighborhoods, Miles. They would just let us go to, like, St. Jerome's and hoop on Friday night.
Yeah,
exactly right.
Well, most churches are open or have an open door.
They are. They used to be.
Not in the middle of the night.
Well, of course not.
But also, they had a carpeted floor in the gymnasium with really thin carpet.
Okay.
And you could play hoops.
Without it being super loud.
Exactly.
Okay.
It wasn't like
All right.
you weren't disturbing anybody.
My favorite sneaking out story is, right, so my brother, he's a bartender at a TGI Fridays. The guy that lives with us, his friend, that's going to Maryland, he also works at this Fridays. My sister's like 18, 19. She now works, so all three of them work at this Fridays, right? So, it's a restaurant. So somebody's throwing a party at, midnight, 1 a.m. Saturday night. Everybody that works at this Fridays is going.
Sure.
So my brother's already there. Our buddy Rich makes a poor decision and decides, Melissa wants to go. He's like, all right, we'll go. But she kind of fakes, makes it seem like the pillows are her in the bed.
Okay.
So obviously at some point my mom goes in there. She's not in there. She's in a work. My mom is so pissed, right? But somehow the party was somewhere in our neighborhood. So my mom shows up at the party. And when she gets there, my brother's already out front going, as soon as she showed up, I came out front. This has nothing to do with me. It's those two. And then dragged her home. And then I remember my mom is not a mean person, not a yeller. And I'm like, she reamed out Rich and my sister for hours. Now, I'm like 17. I think this is hilarious.
Of course.
I'm in my room dying laughing like, how could you be so stupid?
Right.
Like your own brother is at this point. That's what I think Chris called home and just said, hey, she's here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he doesn't want his little sister hanging out at a cool party.
Not at that
with
age.
him.
Yeah, exactly, right?
And you know what the worst
Get
part
your ass
is?
out of here.
From the parent point of view, it's not that you snuck out. It's that you put those pillows under the blanket.
Oh, that almost made it worse.
Right, it does. Because it's like, man, if you sneak out, you sneak out. But when you try to set up deception, that if I come and the only reason I would open the door to check on you is because I love you as a parent. You know what I mean? Open the door, and I think that's that would put me over the
That's
top.
like an Alcatraz move.
It really is.
Like
socks hanging out of the
Plus,
bottom.
my brother is 7 years older than I am, 5 years older than my sister. So,
he does not want her there.
Right, and he, I love my brother to death, but with those age differences, when you messed up, he had no issue diming you out to mom because he knew.
And he wants to get laid, and she's there.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and
Oh,
yeah. What did you quit? Why did you quit it? 206-803-ROCK.
99.9 KISW. The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill.
Why did you quit your job? I'd taken some time off of work because my mom had just passed away from cancer. And my dad had unexpectedly passed away a few months before that. Well, I finally decided to get an easy job to ease myself back into work and got a job at a telemarketing place as a supervisor. I had to report to the office manager. She knew about my parents. She was nice at first and then would use my parents' deaths against me. Anytime I made a mistake or did something like that she didn't like, she'd say something like, wow, I bet your parents would be really, really disappointed in you.
Damn.
I quit the next day. Our question, what did you quit and why did you quit it? 206-803-ROCK.
Wish I knew how to quit you.
Oh, nice. Hello, Mark. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola.
Hola.
So, Sunday, I found out I'm allergic to weed.
How did you find this out? Did you break out into a rash?
No, I started, well, the easiest way to describe it was an allergy. It's called cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome or something, and it causes you to violently throw up.
Did you go to the doctor?
No, I went to the hospital because I got dehydrated and they threw 3 bags of fluid into me.
Damn.
Okay.
So, had you been smoking weed for a long time leading up to this?
Daily for about 6 years.
And did you always get violently ill, or was this something new?
This started about 4 weeks ago, was the first instance.
And did you think it was connected to the weed, or did you, based on the fact that you've been smoking all the time, like it had to be something else, right?
I thought I had to see something else.
Yeah, I would too. I would think, like, if I'm feeling sick, I will smoke a bowl, and that will make me feel better immediately.
Right.
So that's typically my go-to move. So I would never think that was the culprit of why I was feeling so bad.
Doing research found that 6% of people, it does the opposite effect where it actually causes severe nausea where you're puking. And on Sunday, I was about every 15 minutes for 4 hours before I ended up at the hospital.
Damn.
How do you feel now?
I am recovering. I am still extremely weak. And the wonderful people at the emergency room gave me 2 different types of anti-nausea pill, one to go under my tongue and the other one to go not under my tongue.
Aha.
Yes. The
Not
insert.
under your tongue, huh?
Yeah, it goes in the opposite end.
Sure.
Oh, you had a
different vehicle altogether.
Yes.
Because I've had other people's fingers there, just not my own. Typically, that's not what I do. You know.
So how many times do you have to take the butt drug?
Once every 8 hours to help with the nausea.
All right.
Damn. And I'm hoping it works.
It has, but unfortunately, because I have dropped over 20 pounds of weight in 3-4 weeks, I keep getting more THC in my system from the fat.
Okay.
You got to be careful when you fart, too, because I've shot one out before.
Have you?
Yes.
Oh,
a nausea pill?
Trust
No,
a fart right now.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Fair enough, man. Cool. You know, if I were a doctor, I'm not going to lie to you. I would tell you need to take this suppository, but deep down, you don't.
Well,
Just to make you uncomfortable. It's like they wouldn't know it's just a sugar pill. They're like, hey, do this.
Look, my grandmother was a nurse. I mean, for her whole career. So if I got sick and I was with my grandparents, you know where the you know where the thermometer was going.
Why do they use that?
Because it's accurate.
What, the one in your mouth isn't?
Did you ever take them under your arm when you were a kid?
No. I never did the underarm one. I always had the oral thermometer, which I hope was only used for
those
that.
had a strip that you put on your forehead. Remember those things? They would light up like in the color and
I think I remember those at school. Otherwise, there's an oral thermometer, and now it's that, like handgun that they fire from, 2 inches away from your forehead.
It's so much easier now for kids.
It really is. But they never aim it at your ass. You know what I mean? They still aim it at your forehead. I'm like, my forehead works now, it worked back then.
I'm going to do that in my place.
Aim it at your butt?
Like, I still have COVID protocols over here. You don't need a mask. I need to take your temperature. Now bend over.
Yeah.
What did you quit? Why did you quit it? 206-803-ROCK.
Show me the starfish.
I got a little holster.
Yeah. When I said your ass was hot, it turns out literally.
Oh. Also, you may be sick. Get out of here.
Yeah, and you might be sick. Hello, Zach, part 1. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Uh-oh.
Zach?
Hola.
Hola.
Hey, so I'm actually pretty proud of myself because over the past 3 months I've quit 2 pretty big things with people these days. That's one being social media, and the second one being fast food.
Damn. That is a tough.
Yeah.
That's a tough double dip.
I mean,
How much fat? Yeah.
Yeah, I know people are always involved in social media. I get it. It's just part of the daily lives. I, too, got out of the game because I realized nothing good happened for me. And I'm not on Facebook, like, checking on my friends and all that. Where there's no reason for me to be there other than get pissed off, right? But with fast food, how much fast food were you eating a day or a week?
It wasn't bad. It was probably, I don't know, 1 to 3 times a week, but and I didn't quit it because of any sort of health scare or anything. It got to the point where when I would park in the parking lot or I would pull it to the drive-thru, I just felt like a big idiot. Like, I don't know how to explain it other than that.
All right.
I'm stupid sitting there.
What was just out of curiosity? What was like? Did you already what was like your go-to meal? Were like burger, chicken nuggets, subs?
Burgers.
Yeah. Standard fast food. I'm just not a big fast food guy. And like I said, not for any health reasons. I just don't go. And it doesn't matter. And it's fine. You know, if someone offers, like, sure, I'll take some. But it's a treat because I don't get it.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, and I started, just making the stuff at home, like either a burger or like a sub sandwich. And honestly, it tastes better. And you buy the ingredients and it lasts longer.
Oh, it's cheaper.
Yeah, great stuff. You save money in the long run. How many different social media sites were you on?
I had Reddit, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Pretty much all of the big ones.
All right. Which one bothered you the most? Which one did you hate the most?
I hated Facebook the most, just because I don't know. I guess it's for the same reason I don't like Instagram either. But it's just kind of annoying that everybody thinks they're the center of attention and they want to be famous, and it just got too much. I was like, man, this is kind of lame.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. Inevitably, things run their course. You know what I mean? I understand the excitement when it first came out, but over time, it's just kind of become what it's become.
Well, I'll tell you what. I will go to check Twitter and realize that I deleted it. So it's still not out of my system yet. As far as me wanting to look at it, and like Ted said, it's great for sports. It's great for following your friends. And Twitter doesn't really necessarily. The pictures up there are not always, look at me, look at me, look at me. Sure. People on trips or whatever the deal is. So that I kind of miss. But other than that, I just don't miss all the negativity.
Well, see, like anything, it serves its purpose. You can find the things you're looking for that aren't there to drive you crazy. But to do that, it's like, look, it's like going to the grocery store. This grocery store has the best stuff. And I like the stuff they have. But when you go to this grocery store, there's all these other things you have to put up with. When you get in there, 3 people are going to spit on you. Someone else is going to throw a shopping cart. They're like, well, then don't go to that store, right? I can get the same information elsewhere without the crap.
And I also followed a lot of stuff that, and I could have unfollowed it, that just shows the worst in people. Not always, but a lot of the time it does. You're just like, geez, what the hell's going on in this world?
Well, on Facebook, too, we were talking about, I think we were talking about it yesterday or whatever. It's just like, people put stuff on Facebook. Like, why would you put, first of all, like personal stuff?
Yeah.
Then other stuff, like, hey, that's an inside thought. If you want to have it with your buddy at the bar or outside over a grill, cool. But like, that's public view. Everybody can see it.
Yeah.
That's why they do it.
What did you quit and why did you quit at 206-803-ROCK?
Well, the other fart I just had was awful.
You can smell it if you're listening on the app.
You know what? You can. That's true. Go over to the Odyssey.
Yeah. So there's
Did you poop yet?
Smell it.
I've tried twice. My body's giving me all the indications that I have to poop, but that's not the case. I make a lot of noise when I'm in there, but there's no follow through.
Yeah.
Still sick?
I'm at the tail end. Yesterday, you have no idea how sick I was. Put it this way. When we got out of here, I was in bed by 7 p.m. I got up at 7 o'clock this morning. And I was when I got home, I smoked a cigarette. And then the time I smoked a cigarette, I threw a blanket into the dryer because I'm having the chills too, right? So I pulled the blanket out of the dryer. Keep in mind, I'm still fully clothed with the exception of shoes. Wrapped that blanket around me, then climbed into bed and put 2 other blankets under me, over top of me. Woke up at 7 o'clock this morning. My wife checked on me at like 10 o'clock last night. I think she handed me Advil. I don't even remember the whole thing. It was just like, I'm not good for this world right now. I need to get rid of this.
Sign this life insurance policy.
Yeah, here, sign this. Just put your signature right
Did
here.
any of your beverages taste sweet?
I told you, man, she might be actively murdering me right now because women take their time to do it.
All right.
Correct.
I mean, it's the whole thing. Every day, I'm like, I might be halfway dead. I don't know.
And your niece or whoever is going to play somebody in the family on the Lifetime movie.
Oh, yeah. Like Brittany will play my wife killing me over a period of a month.
When did you quit? Why did you quit at 206-803-ROUND?
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Damn it. I mean, as soon as we asked this question, I was like, that quote has to come up.
That was one of the first things that came up in my mind.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
I kind of missed that. That was fun for a lot of years.
It was, man.
Just saying to people, I wish I knew how to quit you.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Which I feel you could say in any relationship that's ending badly.
I wish I knew it, but then I figured it out.
And theirs is going strong at that point in the movie.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. You get a merit badge.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a secret badge.
Never mind.
Yep.
Could you tie this cherry stem with your tongue?
Hello, Zach. Welcome to the men's room.
Can you rope me?
Hola. How are you guys doing today?
Doing great, man. Thank you, brother.
That's good. So about 10 years ago, I quit meth.
Good on you.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
you shouldn't.
Barely.
That was timely.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be.
I quit meth. I'm sorry.
How hard was that?
It was actually quite hard. It took me a few times. Had to go through some trials and tribulations. Ended up getting frostbite and hypothermia. And while I was sitting in the hospital, my dad told me that if I ever wanted to see my little sister, because at the time he was going through a custody battle, that I needed to be clean if I ever wanted to be around her.
Did you fall asleep outside or pass out someplace in the cold?
Well, I'm sorry.
I said, how did you get the hypothermia and the frostbite? Did you fall asleep on drugs someplace in the cold?
No, I was super high on meth, walking around downtown Seattle with holes in my shoes, wearing shorts and no shirt, and was enjoying life.
Yeah, I think we saw you.
I think I've seen you before. So
most likely.
Yeah. What are the withdrawals from meth?
Honestly, it wasn't too bad for me. I just had to eat a whole bunch of sugar and caffeine, and that's what helped me.
How much weight did you put back on?
I want to say over about 100 pounds now. I've been sitting even.
Okay, all right. I know that there's no fat people walking around with no shoes on down there.
Can you watch a show like Breaking Bad, or is watching people do meth like too much of a trigger?
No, over the years of me being clean, I've been around like old friends that have just started using in front of me, and it does trigger, but I've had the will and confidence to be able to just walk away and say no to it.
Well, and is meth like, sorry, just one more, like, I don't know much about meth, right? Like Breaking Bad's probably the extent.
Right.
But is it like,
right.
Is it like cocaine? Is there some people that like live normal lives and still smoke meth?
Oh, yeah. I know plenty of people that smoke meth and crack and do coke that are functional addicts. They only touch it on the weekend.
All right.
Wow. Okay.
I'm not sure that they're addicts. I think they're recreational users who are dealing with a dangerous drug. You could be an addict.
Yeah, if you're an addict, you're doing it more than
if
just
I'm smoking
weekends.
cigarettes on the weekend, going out, whatever. I mean, it's still not good for you. I'm not addicted to it, I don't believe, on a daily basis.
How many years did you do meth?
Well, roughly about 3 years. I got into it pretty heavy and fast. I smoked it for about a month and then just went to start shooting up because of how much cheaper it made it and longer it lasted.
Did you have any friends pass on during this time?
I did have a few buddies. One, he passed away. He had diabetes and passed away in the tent, and we all woke up freaking out. Okay. And then I had a buddy try heroin for the first time, and he passed out in a chair, and a rat ate his eye out.
Jesus Christ, man!
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, over the years.
So wait a minute, hold on. Was he alive when this was happening, or was he passed on?
Yes.
So
he was alive and went to the hospital afterwards, and they had to surgically clean his eye out and seal it up and everything, and he's one eye now.
Jesus Christ, man.
That's enough to make me quit right there. That's one of the reasons.
You're going to quit when a rat eats your eyeball.
One of the reasons with oxys is because I just had so many friends pass on.
Yeah.
That I just had zero interest in that drug. I had a lot of friends that used it early on because it was the beginning stages of this drug, kind of basically hitting the market.
Yeah.
People were taking them all the time, and I had friends, and couple friends just never woke up. So at that point in time, roommates of mine, close friends of mine.
I had a lot of friends that died from the illegal version of oxys, which is heroin, right? Basically, they removed one ingredient to make this addictive thing legal. That's how you play the system. But a lot of them died, and this was all in about a 2-year period. But there was a guy named Willis, and this guy looked like a dried-up chicken drumstick, right? One of the thinnest cats you ever met. This is a dude that got hit by a car. Car's only like 40. Car hits his ass, knocks him out of his shoes, which is funny now because he did survive, but he lands on the road like 30 feet away. And we're like, oh my God, Willis is dead. And it was like a scene from The Walking Dead, right? It's a kind of contorted body, just pops up, first words out of his mouth, what the F happened to my shoes? We grabbed his shoes for him. Anyway, he disappears for like a year and a half. And so I'm hanging out at this bar we called the Dirt Church. He comes in one day, man, and we almost didn't recognize him because we never knew he was fat. Like he was naturally a big guy, but the whole time we knew him, I mean, he looked like Jimmy Walker, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Considerably shorter, but look at Jimmy. He came in like double chin, kind of blown up. We were like, Willis, and our quote was, we didn't know you were fat. His quote, I didn't either. But we're all smiling. He's like, dude, I never knew that as an adult, this is where my body was going to go. But he's like, man, I shot heroin for so long. I was always like a buck.
He didn't even remember getting hit by the car, did he?
No, the next day, because we all crashed at my buddy's house. This happened at night after the bar closed. He gets hit by the car, knocks him out of his shoes, whatever. It's Willis. So we just kind of go, you know, things happen. Taking my buddy's house. We get up the next day. And I mean, he's like holding his ribs, just like, dude, what happened last night? He thought someone beat his ass. We're like, Willis, you got hit by a car. He's like, no, man, seriously, what happened? We're like, Willis, you got hit by a car. He's like, man, I didn't get hit by a car. We're like, Willis, we all watched the car hit you because we yelled car because we were crossing this particular street. And you began to run, but you were high on heroin, so you moved a little slower, and you got hit by the car. So what happened to the person that hit me? We told her to leave. And she was freaked the hell out. It was not her fault. She was doing the speed limit. And she's coming around a turn, so it's kind of hard to see if people are going to be there. It wasn't a crosswalk. We tried to bolt across. We did. You did not. The lady hit you with the car. I mean, she was like in tears. We had to calm her down and just go. And we're like, he's a heroin addict. He'll be fine.
Because the cop's showing up for him.
Dude, and that's the whole thing. Like, look, you didn't do anything wrong. You don't want to go through this. This dude is strung out on heroin. Like, nothing good's going to happen. We'll just take his battered ass back to our buddy's house. It's fine. And then in the end, he was fine. And like we said, we see him a couple years later. He's fat and hit on my mom.
Well, yeah, I respect that.
He didn't know it was my mom. My mom went to meet me at the same place, the Dirt Church. It's about a week after we knew he was back in service. I show up, I see my mom, give each other a hug, and she's like, I met your friend Willis. I'm like, oh, good, man. He was hitting on me. I look at Willis. He's like, I didn't know it was your mom, man. I was like, no, I don't care. I mean, do your best, brother.
When did you quit it? Why did you quit it? 206-803.
I just respect. He's like, all right, I'm off the junk. I'm eating food. I'm hitting on with.
Oh, dude, his confidence went to the roof.
Yeah.
Like, hey, mama, what's up with you?
Not strung out anymore.
Right. Hello, Nelly. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
Yeah, man. I worked at Little Caesars when I was in high school. It sounds like it was a long time ago, but it was only like 3 years ago. But I quit Little Caesars and everything that came with it. Just a lot of everybody around me in the store I was working at.
So was it just kind of make you feel like the future is bleak kind of thing?
I just kind of looked at everybody around me and realized that if I stayed doing the same thing, I'm going to end up like them.
What type of profession was it?
Little Caesars.
Oh, Little Caesars.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't hear that part.
He's making pizza.
All right.
Pizza. Well, you said all that comes with it. I was like, oh, is there a hierarchy?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Little Caesars.
No.
That deep dish pizza's pretty good, though, isn't it?
I think it is.
Yeah, we made some pretty good. It's way better when you get to put whatever you want on there and not pay like $30 for it.
Man, Little Caesars.
I don't think anybody's ever paid $30 for I mean, that's kind of their thing.
Takedown.
It's hot, it's ready, and it's cheap.
Right. And it's better than people think, man.
It
gets a bad rap.
I don't think so. I think it's great.
It had been years since I had it. I have had it recently. I was like, all right, Little Caesars, to see you.
They did that Detroit-style deep dish.
That's the one.
Yeah.
And so my wife and I'm like, dude, I got to try it at least, right? Because there's a knockout Little Caesars. We had it. I'm like, it's fantastic.
You used to have one down the road from where you lived before, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, it's a pretty convenient.
Yes, I did.
Next to the Panda Express.
Yes.
Two great places, one location.
Plus, it's fun to just say crazy bread and crazy sauce.
If you say it like that.
Who Sucks Less is coming up. You are listening to The Men's Room.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, the podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Who sucks less? Coming up. First time for a few emails from the Men's Room at KISW.com.
You've got mail. You've got mail.
Oh, let's see here. Subject, beer floats. Good afternoon, gentlemen. You were talking about root beer floats. A few summers ago, my lover and I were enjoying beverages at one of the bars at Port Ruston. And the people next to us ordered a Guinness float. I'd never considered beer and ice cream, but holy yes, very good. You can do it with any stout. I tried it with an Elysian Split Shot, their coffee stout. It's amazing. Monday, I failed big time by not requesting a birthday shout-out to my lover. I firmly understand your policy on birthday shout-outs, so I would never ask for one. I would just wallow in my failure and try better next year. Try a beer float, guys. They're from Dan in Tacoma.
I should. That's another one. I'm always like, I don't want a boozy milkshake. I like them separate.
So what do you think? Like a stout, I'm guessing?
Yeah, but I like Jell-O shots, and that's kind of mixing dessert and booze.
Yeah, I watched you and my wife crush a bunch of them. Just saying, we're at the bar that we go to. You too, Mike. And I said, you guys want another Jell-O shot? You guys want another Jell-O shot? You guys want another Jell-O shot? Oh, these are this flavor. This was this flavor.
Oh, yeah.
It was like the whole time.
But if they made it with pudding, I'd really be in.
Ooh.
Pudding shots?
Liquor
pudding. Just lick that thing.
Liquor pudding.
Liquor pudding.
I misinterpreted that.
Don't say that again.
I heard three separate words there.
Liquor pudding.
Liquor pudding. Men's Room liquor pudding. Ted talks about it all the time.
Yeah.
Got a merit badge.
Yeah, he sure did. But I think if you're doing that, you're doing another area.
Yeah,
that's not the same place.
You are in it to win it.
You are
trying to help her nausea.
And she requested.
Can that be the promo?
You should shower first. Liquor pudding.
Look, I'm not doing that, but for real, you should shower first.
Yeah, exactly.
And after.
Mm-hmm. Good afternoon, guys. Back in 2014, I had ankle surgery from a work-related incident. After the surgery on one of the visits to the doctor, it had become infected due to a worker leaving some stitches in there. 2 weeks later, on the last visit, it was still infected. Doc asked me if I smoke. Yeah, I do, about a pack and a half or 2 packs a day. He about had a heart attack on how much I smoked and prescribed me Chantix, and it worked. After almost 35 years of smoking cigarettes, I quit that habit, and I've not smoked one since then. Can't stand the smell of them nor the taste. I suppose I'm healthier for quitting. Not sure. That from the Elk Plain Drifter. Guys, I quit my first marriage after she got knocked up by another dude. She married and divorced him. I'm glad I got out. As we move on to the birthday shout-outs.
I will say this. I'm glad Elk Plain Drifter stopped smoking. And I guess cigarette smoke is completely different. You smell it.
Yeah.
But I'm going to sound horrible when I say this, but like, I have some friends that have quit things and they're fine. They're like, all right, whatever. And they're like, I just couldn't do it anymore. Then you have other people that quit stuff, and it's now the most evil thing of all time.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Whether it be booze, cigarettes, food, bad foods.
Yeah,
it's like,
I understand what you're saying.
All right, man.
Like, we get it. We get it. And
right.
I'm glad you even think that. That'll prevent you from doing it. But get off of everyone else's case.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Guys, can you wish my son, Brayden, a.k.a. Buddy, a very happy 10th birthday from his mom and dad? Can he get a fish sandwich? And Coach Ted giving him some pointers to help with his jiu-jitsu tournament this weekend. Thanks, guys. That from Brent.
Fish sandwich.
All right, 10 years old. I don't know if this is gi or non-gi. I'm assuming this is gi. But at 10 years old, you're light. You can do a lot of stuff. Flying arm bars, this and that. But Coach doesn't want to talk about that. What Coach wants to talk about is breathing. All right? At some point, he's going to be in the mount. You're going to be on the bottom. We got to breathe and relax. And remember the most fundamental thing about our training. Shrimp out. Shrimp.
Shrimp?
What is that? What happens when you shrimp out?
It's a way, like, if a guy's on top of you and you're kind of on your, it's a way, like, or he's, like, on your chest, there's a way you can move your body and shrimp out.
Right.
To make distance between you and him, and then hopefully you can stand back up.
You know, a coconut shrimp out.
I love a delicious shrimp cocktail as well.
Shrimp scampi out.
There's a whole...
There's all different moves, Ted. You don't even know.
Fettuccine with shrimp.
Yeah.
Fried shrimp.
I did enough
shrimp.
months of jiu-jitsu. That's all people kept yelling at me.
Shrimp out.
You guys want to be pissed off?
And you went home and steamed shrimp, didn't you?
Yeah, I had a pound of steamed shrimp almost every day.
Yeah. You shrimped out?
Oh, man, I know.
God, I love that, though. Guys, we'd love it if you would give a shout-out to our awesome son, Zach. He turns 20. He'd like an lookout, a barbershop quartet fish sandwich, and Coach Ted giving him some advice on getting through the next decade. Love you guys. That from Mom, Dad, and the pups.
Uh-oh, look out.
Can I get a fish sandwich? Oh, you know I gotta eat right. Oh, brother, can I have a fish sandwich? You put the cheese and the tartar on the side.
All right, listen. The 20s are tough. You're going to have a blast, but, Coach knows himself. He got a little trouble in his 20s. Make it to 25, son. I feel like after 25, it gets a little easier. You'll still do stupid stuff, but you're in your 20s. Other than that, just get out there, have fun, and if you don't have a girlfriend, you know what? Get some numbers up.
Keep it that way.
Boots Tavern and Black Diamond, guys, has liquor pudding shots. They're amazing.
All right.
Really, from the Danimal, yeah.
I mean, Miles, you bring that up because you've had them, right?
No. I just remember going to a steakhouse and they'd have pudding or they would have Jell-O.
Okay.
So, like, when you go to, like, a Western Sizzler.
Let's say you're a Sizzler.
I'm a Sizzler, man.
That stuff say steakhouse.
So I was like, well, that's a steakhouse. That's an upscale steakhouse in West Virginia. And they'd have, like, a piece of pie or something like that. But I always
Met of West Virginia.
I always went for the pudding because I like pudding better than I like Jell-O.
I agree, 100%.
So I'm like, I like it. I definitely love a Jell-O shot. But I would say, like, if you had a liquor pudding, I'd have that.
You know what I do like about autocorrect? Someone was talking about liquor pudding. But the way it came out, no, but they wanted to make, they say it was Kahlua or Bailey's, sounds delicious. I'm assuming that might be voice to text.
Right.
It also depends on what flavor you put in there. I feel like Jell-O.
Yes.
Come on.
This pudding shot has corn in it.
Exactly.
What has happened today? I didn't realize the whole show was going to be one big promo for the Odyssey app.
Oh.
I almost got dumped again. I had to go over and ask Mike, and he goes, no, don't say that. I was like, all right.
Lick responsibly.
Yes.
No.
That's from the texters.
Yes, that's how you get the merit badge.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I'd eat it if it was pudding.
All of Jones, could you please wish Fred a very happy 40th birthday? Can he get a huge bong rip and have the Dirty Germans and Captain Crunch tell him what happens when you turn 40? Thanks, guys, and rock on that from Monique.
Yeah, I would just say this. When you turn 40, it's different for different people, but I have this idea of a woman named Monique. So if you're with a Monique, I guess you feel like you might be enjoying some liquor pudding at age 40.
Come on, man. No.
Yeah, I don't know. I think once you turn 40, you go see your doctors, and he has a prescription already filled out for the generic Viagra.
Yeah. Happy birthday. Here's your prescription.
All right.
Ooh, well, ahoy there.
Oh, God.
I don't know if you knew this, but the old Capitan actually turned 60 years old this year. I was born in 1963, at least according to my own website. But when I was 40, that's 2003. And that turned out to be good news because that year, SARS, the disease, was taking over. Sadly, the Colombian disintegrated upon re-entry to the earth. The United States invaded Iraq, and Arnold Schwarzenegger was elected governor of California. And all of these distracted the general public from noticing that I temporarily switched my crunchberries to dingleberries. They turned your milk chocolatey and your eyes pink.
Oh, like
crunchberries.
All right, guys, here you go.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Bitches.
Ya's a Dirty Germans brought to you by Men's Room Original Sausage. Available through Uli's World Famous Sausage, mensroomlive.com, and other fine retailers. Schweinefly.
Think about a couple extra emails. Subject, Casa Bonita. Mike,
Casa Bonita.
You brought this up the other day in TV time there, Mike. Casa Bonita was featured
South Park, but it's open again.
They did because the guys from South Park actually bought the restaurant.
Yeah, and I had been there as a child,
and they ended up dumping $40 million into the restoration of that thing because it needed a lot of upgrades and everything else. Guys, I'm in California. but was born in Denver and visited there annually to see my dad. We went to Casa Bonita once, and it was magical, probably around 1979. Food, I don't remember. Lots of fun stuff like a mini carnival inside of a restaurant, and one more.
I mean, I'm sure now that they own it, the food will be better.
Yeah, that's part of the thing they did. They totally redid the kitchen.
You have a place like that for kids, like the food doesn't have to be that good.
That's what I told Miles,
it's like Chuck
man.
E. Cheese,
because he said, "Do you remember the food?" I'm like, "I remember eating, and I remember they had pretty much anything a kid would want." I guarantee you, it was garbage. But I do know they served alcohol. Our parents, when I lived in Denver, and our parents would take us there with a bunch of other friends, and we had a blast playing on all the crap they had. And the parents, I only remember drinking beer, not eating so much.
Yeah.
But it was, if your parents said, "Do you want to go to Casa Bonita?" You said yes. And then there was something you needed to do to get there.
Yep.
I mean, like, paint the house. Paint the house in 30 seconds. Let's go, man.
Rainforest Cafe food's not bad.
Ooh, yeah.
I was surprised how decent that was, actually.
You're right.
I went there with my kids a couple of times, and I didn't expect much based on the Chuck E. Cheese philosophy, but Rainforest, thought was pretty good.
I don't know
It's not bad, but also, like, I go there for the show.
Sure.
Yeah.
I want to see that thunderstorm, right? And
I
like,
didn't
all the
know
animals
it was
go crazy.
animatronic, bro. And the first time I went there, they had one in Towson by our old job.
Correct.
And I'm sitting there, and there's this giant-ass gorilla behind me. I did not know he was going to do that. I'll leave it at that. I'm just eating my food, so you hear the thunder
Comes out
coming,
the
right?
wall, yeah.
And then this gorilla that had been completely static the entire again, just thought a stuffed gorilla. This thing jumps up and starts making this noise. Almost spilled my drink and my food. Jesus Christ.
What was the one thing that they had at Arundel Mills Mall? It's like not the jousting thing.
Medieval Times.
Medieval Times.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I know that's an adult thing, but kids do go and.
Oh, no, that's for everybody.
Yeah,
that's family friendly.
They still have that? Is that still around?
There is, but there's not that many of them. I want to say there's only like 8 or 10 of them in the country.
I've always wanted to go. Isn't there one in
Really?
Vegas? Yes.
I'm sure there's one in
There's
Vegas.
gotta be.
Why
If
do
there's
you
one
want to
anywhere
go?
else.
Is the food any good?
I don't know, but honestly, I like medieval times. I like that kind of stuff. I like that culture. I think it would be a gas.
But is it interactive? I don't like interactive stuff where someone walks up to me as I'm
No,
eating.
not so much.
Is thou going to... thou wants to finish his meatloaf.
The one that we tried to go to in Vegas is at the Luxor Excalibur.
That makes sense.
And I think you sit in like the stands like a lord, and they bring your food and they bring your drinks, and then you watch the jousting competition in front of it. It sounds awesome.
Have you been to Teatro Zenzani or whatever?
No.
Oh, it's here. It's awesome.
Where's that?
You would actually love it. It's depending on the show. It's always a different show, but the food's always top notch. It's entertaining. It's a couple hours, and it's a pretty entertaining night. I think they moved the location a few times. So
Yeah,
I'm not sure exactly where the location is now. It used to be in Queen Anne. Then they moved to either to Woodinville or someplace out in the sticks.
What's the show?
It depends on what they're doing. So they
I've heard
changed
there's
the
like
show.
acrobatics. It can be performance.
Right.
But again...
And the food's really good.
We were invited to go, but again, my question is it interactive? They go, oh, yeah, we get the audience involved. I'm like, then I'm out.
I don't want to go.
I just want to eat, man, and watch you do your thing.
Mike, I would totally go to Medieval Times with you. The
Let's
bad
go.
news is there's not one in Vegas.
Okay.
Where's the closest?
Where's the nearest medieval times?
It's a shame. I guess we'll have to go to the Scottsdale Castle.
Damn it.
Okay, that's nothing wrong with that.
That's so far away, Ted.
All right, guys, coming up, we'll drink and toast with a shot of the day, but first.
Now, the men's room wants to know who sucks less?
Hey, time for Who Sucks Less. Stephen Throw-Hill, you bring us 3 stories from the news each and every week. They all suck. But it's up to us to determine out of the 3 stories, who sucks less. Now, if you happen to follow us on Twitter at KISW, the debate, which I can't see, is already underway on Who Sucks Less.
Yes, indeed. And as always, we have the 3 stories.
I'm not on Twitter anymore.
Yeah, Mike's like, I'm on it. Like, no. You can't help him on this. So last week, we had a story about a Sherpa that got the cold shoulder after saving someone. And they got the cold shoulder on Instagram because that same Sherpa had the goal to say, hey, I'm glad you're okay, right? Yep. Well, we got another Sherpa in the news. Still getting a cold shoulder. And again, I'll just say this. Not that climbing Mount Everest is some small feat. I understand it takes a whole lot to get up there. But if you can't do it without a Sherpa, then give the Sherpa a little love. That's all.
Very few people are even allowed to get that permit to do that.
I mean, look, a lot of people can swim, but should you find yourself drowning, if the lifeguard comes out to help you, don't give the lifeguard the cold shoulder. This is all I'm saying. Yeah. Anyway, a Chinese mountaineer, she recently sparked controversy after reportedly refusing to pay the $10,000 rescue fee of the Sherpa who found her unconscious on Mount Everest. So this happened just last month, May 18th. Making the climb up Mount Everest, a different mountaineer stumbled upon an unconscious woman in her 50s. Well, an experienced mountaineer herself, the woman reportedly reached the summit and was on her way back to base camp when she started experiencing health problems. Well, the one lady said to her Sherpa they decided to abandon their goal of conquering Everest in order to take this woman back to base camp safely. During their descent, they met another climber who was also with the Sherpa. He abandoned his climb in order to help, but a Sherpa was a little reluctant to join them, but they needed the extra hands, so the guy promised them a fee of $10,000, to which the man agreed. No one asked the person being rescued, of course, because they were unconscious and dying. Now, fortunately, the rescue operation went smoothly, and after being treated for a few days at base camp, the woman made a full recovery. However, when she heard that the Sherpa had been promised $10,000 for aiding her rescuers, she refused to pay. According to one of the other mountaineers there, she was only willing to pay the Sherpa $4,000 out of the $10,000 that she'd be promised. Quote, what she said angered me. That's what I told her. Since this is your attitude, I don't want a cent from you. You don't need to give me money. That's what the mountaineer, not the Sherpa. What the mountaineer said to the other mountaineer says, I've been preparing to climb Mount Everest for 40 days. I spent $56,000 on reaching this goal. I was willing to give up on my plan to reach the peak. What's more, the rescue fee, it was already paid by me. I don't know what to say. So he just wanted to recoup his money. Right. I was just wondering why she's reluctant to pay. Anyway, says it feels bad about the incident so far. She's not even said thank you. She's so ungrateful. We don't want to have anything to do with her from now on. Mike made the point earlier. She did not ask to be rescued. Mm-hmm. This guy, he took $10,000 out of his pocket, said, hey, man, I'll pay you now. Let's get her down. Let's get her there safely. She's like, yeah, I'm not paying for that. Which you tell me, let them die if you see them on Mount Everest. Yeah. Now we move on. This makes no sense. We go to North Carolina, where a man named Rico Williams, he was arrested last weekend after punching someone. That someone, a 1-year-old baby boy. This as the mother and the baby were crossing the street. The mother says she doesn't even know the guy. Now, thankfully, there were witnesses around, including a DoorDash driver who chased the guy down and subdued him until the police got there. Rico was charged with assault on a child under 12. Now, the baby will be fine. He was treated at the hospital and released. However, it's unclear why the guy punched the kid, but when he was arrested, he was reportedly incoherent. So, as best they can tell, he was high or drunk or whatever, but made a decision to punch a 1-year-old baby. Brother, I've been high and drunk, even at the same time. You don't punch 1-year-old kids, sorry. And now, we go to Canada, where a school's track and field meet turned distressing for one young athlete after an attendee accused her of being a boy. Now, the incident took place Thursday at Kelowna's Apple Bowl Stadium. That's where Heidi Starr's 9-year-old girl was preparing to compete at the meet's 4th grade shot put event. I've never heard of a 4th grade shot put event, but here we are. Quote, as my daughter was preparing to get up and throw, a man came out of the crowd, stepped forward, walked toward a parent volunteer and said, this is a girl's event, why are boys throwing? And she says she was initially confused until she realized the man was pointing at her child, who was a girl, but the girl has a short pixie haircut. She went on to say the man, who was the grandfather of another competitor, also thought another little girl with short hair was a boy. She notes that when she tried to correct him, he insisted her child and the other girl were either boys or transgender and demanded to see a certificate proving her daughter was a girl. She adds that the man's wife then jumped into the fray, screaming that she and her ex were, quote, genital mutilators and, quote, groomers. Now, she says her daughter was in tears for the rest of the day, which also happened to be her birthday. She also says her daughter thinks she would have placed in her event had the man not been yelling about. Now, the man, identified as Joseph Tessar, he's denying Starr's account of what happened. He says he walked up to an official to quietly ask if the event was co-ed. And Starr was the one who approached him, yelling and cursing. That could be true. However, other witnesses that were there, they dispute his account, saying, no, what the First Lady said was accurate. So those are your 3 stories. All right, so we have, once again, the Sherpa hate, which I always argue, if you can't get on the mountain by yourself and you need help, reward those people that help you. But she doesn't want to pay the fine. To be fair, she was never asked. We have the guy who, for no reason we can figure out other than being drunk or high or both, decided to punch a 1-year-old child in the face as he was crossing the street with his mother. And then the guy in Canada who accused a 9-year-old girl who had a pixie haircut of either being a boy or being transgender and all the rest of that nonsense.
This is not an easy one, but I'm going to go with the Chinese woman. You made a 9-year-old cry on her birthday. She was competing in a competition.
Well, you're accusing her. And here's the thing. You were wrong.
Right.
She just has a short haircut.
Sucks the least? No. I think that sucks a lot. I think the Sherpa situation in this case, if we're measuring between the 3 stories.
Sure.
You punched a 1-year-old baby. That sucks the most.
I would agree.
Period. So between the 2, you make a 9-year-old girl cry or you don't pay the $10,000 to be saved, which you're an idiot. I still say the Chinese woman, for whatever reason, sucks the least. In the instance of
I would say
3.
it's not about making a 9-year-old girl cry. It's about why she's crying.
Exactly. Well, yeah,
Correct.
That's what I mean. Yes, totally.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm with you. Most people on Twitter agree, like, the Sherpa one sucks the least just because a child didn't get punched.
Agreed.
You don't have, like, trauma from dealing with these idiots.
Yeah.
You know, I honestly, like, just people sometimes just shut up.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Mind your business. Like, right, it's a girl with a short haircut.
How many girls did you go to school with had a short haircut?
Many.
When I was in grade school, right? A bunch of them did.
It must be a boy transgender.
Hell, listen, I was at a high school graduation last Thursday. The girl that won the award made me feel like a loser. She's going to West Point. She had every award, this and that. She had a very short haircut. At no point did I go, must be a dude.
Right.
Like, sorry. Just
Come on,
people.
I thought that was just a United States thing based on what's going on here.
Right.
I had no idea that had crossed the border into Canada.
I almost feel better.
All that crap.
In a sense.
It's sad that the disease has spread that far north.
Right.
You know, that's the last thing. I immediately thought, okay, this is somewhere in the United States.
Nope.
This is typical behavior. This is no different than anything that we normally do, which is stupid as hell. No, it's Canadian. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. We exported that.
And he was wrong.
And he was wrong.
Right. On top of it all.
Coming up, we'll drink and toast with the shot of the day. You are listening to The Men's Room.
99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is The Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
All right, coming up minutes, we'll drink and toast with the shot of the day. And we do have your headlines on the way at 5:50. But first, quick check out with Mike Hogg and some of the stories and headlines he is not working on.
All right, someone is trying to make the pizza vending machine a thing.
I've seen them.
All right, I'm down.
Right, and apparently the slices come out incredibly hot, fresh. They got all the stuff on them. You can customize them any way that you want to.
I've seen the whole pizza. Ooh. I've not seen slices.
I think that's what they're trying to do is make the slice pizza.
Okay, all right.
Which I think would be awesome.
Yes. If you can do it right, I am 10,000% in.
I've never turned down pizza. I don't know a time when I'm not ready for pizza.
Did they say a general cost or no?
No.
Because like 7-Eleven pizza, right? It's cheap. Make fun of it. And when the guy put it in my bag the first time I got it, he put 2 slices in sideways, which pissed me off. I get back to work and realized that I don't know what kind of cheese I use, but it doesn't really slide.
It does not stick.
I ate it and I'm like, this is good. So whatever kind of super glue they use in place of cheese, it's fine.
Exactly. 2 weeks ago, I got one of those Amazon pizzas.
Oh, yeah.
Up until then, I have not had a real pizza in probably over a month.
Yeah.
Just like a real slice of pizza. Not that nothing wrong with the Amazon little thing they give you, but
and when's
I don't
the
consider
it was dry.
It was really dry.
When's the last time you had a really bad pizza, though? Yeah, yours was dry. It was probably under the heat lamps.
I've lived in my house now for 7 years after I moved back into it. I have never had a pizza delivered to my home.
Oh, no.
Really?
Kidding.
Never.
Damn.
Because it's a lot of food.
It is a lot of food.
Oh, yeah.
But it makes great leftovers, man.
Yes, it does.
There's a list of side hustles that...
Ocean Shores.
Bad pizza?
Horrible.
What made it bad? Was it like the sauce? Was it... You just can't identify it, but it just wasn't
Yeah,
good.
I don't know. Like, it's not cooked well enough. There's not enough sauce on it.
All right.
You open the box, all the toppings like seem like they exploded out. Like,
just all around bad.
Yeah, it's bad.
All right. There's a list of side hustles that could make more than your 9 to 5.
Such as?
I don't know. I'm not working on it.
Man.
You know, it's the usual stuff. You know, you
drug dealing.
Exactly. You can get into landscaping. You can get into creative writing. You can get into, you know, teaching languages and whatnot online. Just,
I guess.
39% of people would be upset if a guest didn't use a coaster.
It depends on where you're putting your drink.
Correct.
Yeah, it depends on the surface.
Right. If there are coasters and they're in a certain area, that means that you put them there to dictate that you don't put glass on this coffee table, or on this end table, whatever it is. That's why the coaster's there.
Exactly.
So, yes.
And coasters to me are pretty, like, it's not like it's not like an argument thing. I don't think it's weird if I'm at somebody's house and they just slide one over.
No problem.
No. So, I mean, sometimes, right, like, I do, like, yeah, it depends on the table and this and that, but, like, sometimes I just forget at somebody's house. So I don't think it's rude when somebody does it. I've done it to people. Like,
sure.
They do it at a lot of bars.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't give it a second thought and they'll slide a coat. You got it. All right.
Yeah.
No worries.
And honestly, I didn't appreciate the coaster or things like that until I got a very nice table that a friend gave to me. And I bought a pizza that night and I put it on that table and I fell asleep with it on that table. And that pizza, the sweat from the table, or the sweat from the pizza just completely put a fog on that table.
And
that
it's
ruined
there forever.
It ruined it. And I was
I did the same thing.
Yeah.
Right, that weird little white mark.
Oh, yeah. Put a paper plate on there that's got like something on there. Yeah, that'll ruin it all day.
When you buy your own things, you quick how things change.
I don't want to buy another coffee tube.
Right.
No. A major zipper company was targeted in a cyber attack.
Is that YYK?
YKK?
To
be honest with you, I don't know what the zipper company is, but I don't know of another one.
It's the only one that makes
It's the one.
Right.
You see it in all, you'll see like 3 letters, like YYK or something like that, and it's like the Yamaguchi, someone else's name, zipper company.
Right.
And check.
No, they won't because John Varvatos has crappy zippers. That's why they always suck.
Yeah.
Because they don't use them. No, I'm being dead serious.
Damn. We have all done the...
you know they're on the other side in Europe.
Yes, they are.
They're on the other side.
The zippers. Like, you're used to, like, using your right hand to zip up your hoodie.
Yeah.
Like, if you get, like, sportif, like, like if it's from
the
Europe...
actual handle of the zipper.
So why are female clothes
right the opposite
done that as well?
I don't know. I don't wear them.
I had heard that it has something to do with like medieval times back in the day, and depending if you were like royalty or something like that.
Yeah.
Other people zipped and or buttoned you up.
Oh.
So it was done from their perspective. Right. But they just didn't change it as time went by.
You got a zipper person?
Was that?
You got a zipper man?
I do.
You don't
Somebody that zips yourself?
I do have a zipper man, yes. I put on my pants and I'm like, Lawrence!
We've all had to do the training there when it comes to sexual harassment, and one thing that we have found is that there may be some unconscious sexual harassment. That's the point of that training, right? Is the things that you may not know are things that are sexual harassment. And one thing that always happens to happen is that men are severely underrepresented when it comes to that. So you know what? It's time to put the shoe on the other foot.
The Men's Room Top 10. The Men's Room Top 10.
10 things women do to men, but don't realize it's actually sexual harassment. Look, I appreciate you buying me a drink, but I'm just not interested. Maybe I really do have a headache. Wouldn't you rather just sit and talk and get to know each other better? I am a human being after all.
Yeah. He's a human.
Yeah.
That's what he tells us.
That's what he is.
10 things women do do to men but don't realize that it's sexual harassment. Tell me if you guys agree here. Hair touching. Among the most popular answers was this man's statement: as a guy, just because I have long hair doesn't mean you can walk up to me and run your hand through it.
I don't take it that way, but if it is for women, then it is for men. I mean, it's just that simple.
You ever had a woman come up there and just start fondling your beard?
Not just fondle my beard, but I'll have women who have asked me, either can I touch your bald head or can I touch your beard? And depending what I think of you, yes or no.
But they asked.
They do ask.
They asked.
I don't think they always ask. I've had plenty of women just rub my head. Now, you're right. It's different, but for this point of this conversation, like, yeah, you're right. That is odd. I would never walk up and just stroke a woman's hair.
Mm-hmm. Taking someone's clothes without permission. Another man described how, quote, women once tried to take off some of my clothes in a club. When he refused, they got angry.
Yeah, I've in my younger days, I mean, I'll not say now, but certainly in my 20s, when you're going a little harder about things. Like, I'm glad
I like
you're
that jacket.
Now, that said, it does not mean I will not go home and have sex with you, but like anything, maybe ask first.
Work on your approach.
Can I do this to you? That's all you need to ask yourself.
Constant proposition. A man who was security at weddings wrote that he was, quote, groped, pawed, and propositioned both covertly and overtly. His favorite story involved a 40-something woman telling him where to meet her for a party of 3. And then a Scottish Reddit user wrote, quote, every wedding and funeral I have ever been to, as a Scotsman, there was a gaggle of horny grannies who would, at every opportunity, try to get a look under the kilt.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, if you were killed, guaranteed. But imagine roll to a chick, hey, look under that skirt.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right. I didn't even think about it, but that's very true.
You wearing anything under that skirt,
if it works
baby?
one way, then it works all ways. That's just how it is.
Exactly.
Period.
Yeah. Again, these are 10 things that women do to men, but don't realize that it's sexual harassment. Catcalling. A man described how he used to do competitive swimming during his middle and high school days. The coaches choose Speedos, and, quote, cat calls from the moms in the stands during the competitions had the announcers hush them repeatedly.
Yeah, I mean, again, if it works one way, it works both.
Exactly.
That's
and they're
all.
high
Now,
schoolers.
that said, I might not complain about it, but it's still, but it still is what it is.
Sure.
You know, dealing drugs is illegal. I might not complain if you offer me the right drug, but it's still illegal.
It's still illegal, right. It's still harassment. Now, I might be okay with it, but not everybody's going to be okay with it.
Correct.
Unsolicited photos. One man mentioned something that most women never happen to men. Unsolicited photos sans clothing. The poster wrote, quote, they can treat us and even make us feel like a piece of meat without feeling that it's invasive or harassing.
Now, again, it is sexual harassment, but I will base it solely on the person sending the picture. Hey, if you're going to do this, then you need to keep doing it.
Add some consistency to it, damn
but again, if it works one way, it works both ways.
Correct. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right. Turnabout's fair play. 10 things women do to men but don't realize that it's sexual harassment. The, quote, if I were younger comments. A married Reddit poster shared how a 55-year-old woman told him, quote, I was exactly the type of guy that she would have been all over when she was my age, but maybe she can settle for me meeting her daughter.
Now, here's the problem. At 54, when someone says that to me, I'm like, lady, if I were younger, stop. Stop.
Just knock it off.
I mean, just like at a certain age, maybe it's flattering. Right now, I'm like, I'm 54, man. No.
If I was younger, no.
Happened to me in Scottsdale at a bar.
Oh, really? Yeah?
The woman was older or whatever, but we were having drinks, having fun. Then everyone, like 10 minutes, her husband would come by and be like, you over here talking to this young stud? And then, like, my other friend showed up, and he'd come back over and go, I gotta stop her with all these young studs. Like, will you stop saying young stud? First of all, I'm not a young stud.
You fishing?
Yeah.
Dude wanted to have a threesome.
He did. I think he wanted to have, like, a sexsome.
Right, I'm saying
there was 5 of us.
He wanted to have orgy.
Oh, these young.
I like sitting in a chair and watching.
And he came over 3 times and said it. It's like, again, sir, I'm not a young stud. Yeah. You and these young studs. I'm like, look, man, it's the middle of the afternoon. I'm in Scottsdale. I don't care if you're 80. If you can buy me a shot, I'll drink it.
Damn right.
Women acted like predators. This Redditor gave several instances when women crossed the line, like inappropriately touching a, quote, passed out man or telling you to take your shirt off.
Passed out?
Especially when it's the first time they've met you.
Jesus.
Like, take your shirt off?
Take your shirt off.
Oh, are you having sex? I assume it's off.
Take your shirt off.
None of these things have ever happened to me.
Not a one, Miles?
Not one.
Well, goodness gracious, it's
I
all
know,
happened to me.
I'm pathetic.
Yep, never happened.
That's how I'm feeling right now. Like, man, that'd been nice. Somebody touching my hair.
I did that this years ago. I'd have wanted me to take your shirt off. So take your shirt off. And then she did. And I'm like, oh.
Game on.
I did not expect that.
Take your pants off.
Liquor pudding.
Oh, come on. No. Oh, God. Not all guys are after one thing. Another was upset about how women believe that all guys wanted was one thing. If they're not interested, they get labeled and mocked.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I mean, I'd label you and mock you, sure.
I feel like most of us are cool with that one thing.
Yeah, I mean, it also depends on time and place.
Yeah. Right. I got the nickname Pop Rock because a woman offered me a mouth hug with Pop Rocks in her mouth in the middle of a very crowded bar. I turned her down, right? But she was very persistent. Finally, it went away, so to speak, but my nickname became Pop Rock as of the next day.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. I mean, she was straight up. I do appreciate the direct and the honesty.
Harassed by a girlfriend's friend. A person wrote how their friend kept slapping her boyfriend's behind. They added, quote, I even talked to her about it, about how it was inappropriate and made us both feel uncomfortable, but she didn't stop.
Damn.
You can't just smack ass, man.
You can't.
No.
You get thrown out of a bar.
You do. Now I've threatened it, but I haven't done it.
You do get thrown out of a bar.
Yeah, they'll throw you out if you smack somebody's ass.
I did not know
that. You're in there sucking down ginger beers. Like, wait a minute, so you're not even drunk? Nah, I just came in to smack an ass.
I just came in to slap I came in to slug ginger beer and slap some ass.
And I'm all out of ginger beer.
That'd be number one, you're getting kicked out. Number two, you're like, no, you're 86 forever.
Yeah, you're going to come back in.
Have more ginger beer, dog, that's all I'm saying.
But
right. Guy's got a $20 tab for 8 hours, and he keeps harassing our customers.
But the number one thing that men do to women do to men, but don't realize that it's sexual harassment, and that's just a straight statement of fact. Grabbing a guy is not cool. A woman who's been lifting weights his whole a guy who's been lifting weights his whole life wrote, quote, women think that they can just grab onto my arms and rub my chest without permission and a warning. The person added their fiance never took him seriously until a party where, quote, female coworkers basically groped my arms in front of her.
Yeah.
Just started getting after it.
His arms.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I'm sorry.
Don't touch people. Keep your hands to yourself.
Yeah, keep your hands to yourself.
Just keep your doggone hands to yourself. A man from Minnesota managed to get away with a series of robberies in which he stole $12,000, and he didn't get to enjoy a dime of it there, Oh, are you kidding me?
Hey, you're about to hear about it in the shot of the day.
Oh, guess what? You don't have to wait until 5:50. But in the meantime, it's going to contest online for Profile This at 206-803-ROCK.
Hey, it's Mike Hawk. Join me every Thursday at 1 p.m. exclusively on the Odyssey app as we go live with Odyssey. Join in on the action as we cover interesting facts, top 10 lists, and some fun new games. Follow the Men's Room page on the Odyssey app and join in all the fun Thursday afternoons at 1.
Part of the minute to drinking time.
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the Men's Room knows just who it is. So to you, we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Drink time it is. As usual, we head to the drink desk and Stephen Throwhill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed. And today we toast Mr. Alan Duncan of somewhere in Minnesota. Now, Mike will complete the story. I'll just give you the setup. This guy, all things being equal, a fairly successful bank robber. Look, if you rob one bank, they go, congratulations. You rob two without getting caught. That is huge news. And this guy, he managed to get $8,000 from one bank. A couple of days later, he goes to a different bank, gets about $4,000 more. He had a total of $12,000 in cash. All right. He had his own getaway vehicle. He did not have help. Basically, he robbed the bank both times, got $12,000 in cash, and he kept the cash in the getaway vehicle.
This was the guy who was driving from like Wisconsin to Chicago to do this stuff, right?
That is correct. Minnesota, either way. But yeah, from out of state, he would drive to Chicago. He robbed these banks, did it successfully. Each time, he just pulled out a gun and said, give me the money. Both tellers in both cases believed him to be serious enough that they handed over the cash. He did not look nervous. He did not look like he was effing around, and his gun clearly was a real gun. Made off with $12,000, but I'll let Mike give the reveal of how he got caught, and it's not really anything that he did specifically, but I'll put it this way. You know, a lot of times you watch a sport and a fight breaks out, say football.
All right.
And punches are thrown. The person who gets the flag is the second person that threw the punch.
Retaliate.
That's exactly it. The first guy gets away with it. The second guy gets caught. In this case, say crime pays for the second person.
Right. So the guy who stole all the money, he got busted, but the person who stole his money is still in the land.
Sort of. It depends how you want to look at this.
Okay.
He got busted, but not for the reasons you would think.
All right.
So we pour this booze, and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy!
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies. Down the hola bichona!
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
Hey, Stephen Throwhill, could you please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
I sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story, something that happened right here on planet Earth. Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes the story a story. Hello, Jeff. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola, bitches.
Hola. All right, Jeff, you understand how this here game is played?
I certainly do.
Fantastic. You have a choice of one of 5 categories. The wonderful world of drugs. Bite me. In other words, what did someone find in their food? Interior decorating, where you guess the foreign object that ended up on the inside of someone. Hit me with your best shot, where you guess the unconventional weapon that someone chose to use as a weapon. And finally, animalize this, where you guess the animal responsible for causing the problem.
I like the animalize this. That's a good new category.
All right, here is your story. Animal control officers in Washington State, they were dispatched to an apartment complex to wrangle a pair of escaped animals seen checking out the local real estate. Now, the Pierce County Sheriff's Department said the deputies and animal control responded to an apartment complex on 70th Avenue East in University Place when a pair of animals were spotted running loose around the buildings. Now, the department posted a video to Facebook showing the two creatures protesting, they say, as an animal control officer wrangled them. The Sheriff's Department said in a Facebook post, quote, animal control officers quickly wrangled up the animals and were just about to transport them to the Humane Society, where deputies located the owners. Now, the owners of the animals had escaped from their enclosure, but what were the animals? Was it, keep in mind there was a pair of them, was it 2 chickens? Was it 2 pigs? Was it 2 ferrets? Or was it 2 pythons? So chickens, pigs, ferrets, or pythons?
Chickens, pigs, ferrets, or pythons.
Correct.
Oh, man. I don't know. University place could have most of those except pigs, I would think. But people are crazy with their little miniature pigs. What do you guys think? Ted, what do you think?
I don't know that I'd call animal control for 2 chickens. Just be like, all right, there's 2 chickens over there in that parking lot.
Yeah, fair enough. You're right. Maybe.
I feel like it's either got to be pigs or pythons. Because that I would definitely be like, oh, that shouldn't be there.
And a ferret's going to disappear. People are going to, and wrangle. I don't think you wrangle a ferret, you net a ferret, right?
I mean, I'd lasso it. That's not the point.
I think I'm going to go pythons. Miles, what are you thinking?
Jeff, going pigs.
I'm going pigs?
So I know if I'm going out wrangling, I'm wrangling a pig.
Yeah, fair enough. What do you got there, Ted? What's your final?
I'm not sure, but I'm with Miles. I think I'm gonna go pigs.
Pigs. All right. So Ted, me, are pigs. Jeff, you're a python. What do those guys have to wrangle?
Now, you know what? I'm gonna go with the majority this time. Every time I go myself, I lose. I'm gonna go with pigs.
So you're changing your answer.
3 pigs.
3 pigs.
Like the story says.
All right. What did the Washington State Animal Control have to wrangle? What are chickens, pigs, ferrets, or pythons? We'll find out next.
Oh, my bad. Hang on. My bad. Hey, just hold your horses.
That was a tease.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Categories analyze this on Profile this week. Stay right at home in Washington State. As Animal Control called to an apartment after 2 animals were seen wandering around the property after escaping. This happened in Pierce County.
Yeah.
Question is, what were the 2 animals roaming around the apartment? Chickens, pigs, ferrets, or pythons?
Jeff, that's the very question we posed to you. You went with pythons, and you heard from Miles Montgomery. You heard from the Ted Smith. They both said pigs. You agreed with them. Now we have 3 little pigs that the wolf's looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah. You are correct.
Yeah.
What kind of pigs?
I don't know.
Potbelly.
But according to Jeff, he said, look, man, they're going crazy for the miniature pigs as pets. So probably those, I guess.
Don't you think of Potbelly, the sandwich shop? They should have the Potbelly sandwich, which is like ham.
I do, but people, they really like Potbelly pigs. Why do pigs get hairy once they go feral? Like, I've never heard a farmer say, I shave my pigs, right? So if you go to a farm and see a pig, this is a pink thing with the oinker, right? And then once they go feral, somehow they look like Captain Caveman, right?
Because they don't have a girl to shave their back.
Oh, that's what it is. I knew it.
Why, because no one wants to eat a hairy pig.
Maybe that's their defense mechanism.
Sure.
Still want to eat me? You still want some hairy bacon?
I eat the hell out of a hairy pig.
Would you eat hairy bacon? We call it hairy bacon.
Yeah, sure. It's physically bacon, right?
It's still bacon. It's just hairy.
Oh, it's got hair on it?
Yes. It'll burn off in the oven.
I don't know. I know the pig skin I wouldn't get to. But.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Well, pig skin is chicharron.
Yes, I believe that's how you say it, right?
Correct.
Right, yeah.
It's funny, my aunt, we were
delicious as well.
Mexico with my aunt. She let me say, limonada. She thought of something crazy. And finally, the one waiter's like, it's just lemonade, man. Mm-hmm. Like, I know it sounds cool when you say it, but dude, it's lemonade. She was so depressed by that.
Now, for all TV news all the time, it is time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box, the Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
Mike, I know you have been worried. Do not. Mean Girl, the musical. John Hamm has signed on.
Thank God.
Oh, he did finally sign.
Yeah.
Good.
Whew. I know. Again, though, you know what? I'm making fun of Mean Girls. I still think that movie stands up.
It's great.
Like, it's funny. It's good for what it is. Like,
that was a Tina Fey movie, right?
Correct. Yeah.
I've never seen it, but I've only heard good things about it.
She's
hilarious, if you're going to watch...
Just you're gonna watch the time pass, right?
Well, if you're going to watch a movie about, I guess, high school drama between some girls, Mean Girls is by far the one to watch.
Okay.
And the thing is that the high school girls are almost clearly not high school age.
So it kind of helps with it. And Tina Fey, like I said, her writing is impeccable. I feel like she did a lot of writing for SNL that she did fantastic work
She
on.
was the first female head writer for SNL.
First female head writer.
Head writer. That's correct.
No
Right,
kidding.
so right. When I found out she wrote that movie, I was like, that explains why you legit will laugh.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm sure part of it is an age thing, 'cause, most of us had to watch it with a girl or whatever. But I don't know many people who have seen it, male or female, who don't like it.
Okay,
Agreed.
all right.
Highly recommend it, buddy. I know.
Well, as they say, also, it's like my buddy Cobb, their popcorn shop down in the market, Cobb's. They have a sign outside that says, is butter or carb? Nice. And I was talking to somebody, right? They were like, isn't that from Mean Girl? I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what it's from. That's kind of the joke.
Right.
Like, take your picture for Instagram, please. Seriously. Just tag them. Let's see what else. Stephen Colbert, he's going to continue to host the Late Show through 2026.
So they're all excited, and they're like, man, it's great. He was even like, I'm really excited we did this. When the strike's over, to be much better.
Would you not, even if you're in that position, right? You haven't been to work for a while based on the fact the writer's strike is going on.
Sure.
I would say, hey, look, I'll sign this deal. Do me a favor and don't announce that you made a deal with me until you can make a deal with the writers that make my show possible.
I don't think you need to do that, only because inevitably they will find their middle ground. Whatever that might be, whoever does more concessions.
All
but
right.
inevitably for TV TV's all about revenue. TV's all about getting your commercial ads and all that. And that's where the pressure is going to come from.
My thing, my thing would be we have bigger fish to fry. So in other words,
you don't have to worry about it. Like, look, the advertisers will take care of this. Like, look, you can give us reduced rates, but me paying for a repeat versus me paying for a fresh new episode of whatever you happen to like, that's the difference. The advertisers are the ones that put pressure on.
It doesn't look the best. I'm with you. I don't know that
It doesn't look great.
I don't know that I would even broach that right then.
No, I just think it's timing. That's all.
Yeah, and I'm with you. And that writer's strike is still going on. Needs to come to an end. Obviously, I would say when they sign the new deal, you need to line that up whenever, where you're writing show, you're getting ready for sweeps. Because right now, as far as TV goes, is kind of the dead season.
Sure.
Right? You're in the summertime. A lot of late night show will take hosts will take vacation and stuff like this. I mean, that's why America's Got Talent became such a smash. It's one of the few shows that literally starts and runs during the summer.
America's Got Talent, American Ninja Warrior, the shows that they plug in right for the summer doldrums, as it were. That's also the reason they construct the contracts that way. Like, if they go on strike at the end of this contract, it gives us a couple of months, right, to figure it all out.
Correct. I'm saying the writers' union should line that up different.
Yeah, they absolutely should. We'll do it in October.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that would make all the... But the advertisers will make this thing happen.
Let's see. Speaking of writers...
Sorry, I haven't written a joke in a while.
No, we're not doing them. We're supporting the writers. Black Mirror creator Charlie Booker did, as they say, a very Black Mirror thing. He used Chat GTP, which is AI, to write an episode. And he said it was garbage.
Okay.
Comes up with something like that. At first glance, read plausibility, but on second glance, it's crap because it's all done to look up the synopsis of Black Mirror episodes and sort of mash them together.
Well, yeah, that's what AI is going to do.
Correct.
I have a buddy that works very deeply in the AI world. We had a very interesting discussion a couple of weeks ago, and I just said, look, man, so he said, look, I don't know why why the companies behind it keep pushing it right now, because for the most part, it's going to fail. And his position is this. We agreed, because I said, well, it seems to me with AI, human beings have a reptilian brain. Therefore, if I throw something at you, you're going to block your face, right? It's an instinct. That's how you survive. So instead of binary code, essentially, is how AI is written, which it must be based on the tech that we have right now. Then no matter what you do, there's certain things it's a guarantee is going to do. And he said, I would hope that more people I work with would know that. I said, but that's a foregone conclusion. That is, it's a reptilian brain, it's a binary code. All these other things you add on top of it, inevitably, it's going to refer to that. Whether it's protect itself, do whatever it is it's going to do. So he's talking about some of the things where it's gone wrong, some things it does very, very well. So he said, like, kids that want to cheat in school, he goes, it's perfect, because as a kid, you essentially, for lack of a better way to put it, you're regurgitating what you've been taught. Right? You need to vomit up what the teacher has told you to make sure you're paying attention and comprehend it. So he goes, it's fine with that. But when you ask it to do creative tasks, it does not have an imagination. What it can do, it can pull from 8 million different sources in a billionth of a second and figure it out, but it doesn't mean that what it comes up with
is right.
It's something, well, not even palatable for the average human being.
Yeah.
Right? So you can say, write a great Shakespearean play, but what it does is it goes through everything that Shakespeare wrote. It can't imagine something beyond what he wrote. So essentially, you see a mashup of what we have decided are the best parts of Shakespeare. So when you get these stories, it's not that the story is bad, but just like this guy said, man, it just seems like a rehash. It's like, right.
Yeah, exactly, because that's all it can do.
It doesn't have imagination.
Like
that's
Hollywood.
what it knows. Right. The reboot of the reboot. So it does a great reboot of things, and it's a mashup. And I said, well, that's what computers do. And he goes, I know this. And trust me, the tech for it to do better is always on the cusp. But it was just a great conversation.
What they put in there for the thing to know.
But that's what was great to talk to him. And he said, but there's little things about the behavior things that they put into it. So he goes, initially it was you program all these things in that people around the world feel about a certain thing. And what it can do is, if it's going to be argumentative, it can be argumentative. If it wants to be cooperative, it can be cooperative. But it's nothing you haven't heard before because it can't imagine outside of what you input to it. And he goes, it only gets scary when AI comes up with the concept.
Sure.
But he goes, that requires imagination, and we don't quite know the code. So whenever I'm worried about AI is going to take us down, it's like, well, then somebody designed it to do that. But he goes, right now it's not there. It can't. It only knows what we've told it. So even if it wanted to take you down, it would just go through the methods that every historical leader that's an a-hole has tried to take the world down, right? I mean, that's it.
But I believe the creators of South Park did use Chat GPT to make an episode of South Park. I've been keeping up with the latest season.
Are they going to put it?
And there was an episode where they did cover AI and Chat GPT. The basis of it was the guys are using Chat GPT to come up with responses to their girlfriends to seem more emotional, to seem more connected, and they sound a lot better.
Yeah.
The entire episode, at the very end of it, you know how it always says created by Trey Parker and Matt Stone.
Yeah.
This one, I believe, said Trey Parker and Chat GPT.
They're on fire.
They are.
I've been watching South Park a lot, and I don't know which season it's from. If it's from last year, this year,
they
whatever,
always do.
They're doing a great job.
It's sad that I think they do the best. Somebody here on text says, I use Chat GPT to help me with coding and fix bugs multiple times. Now it's scary good. Right. That it's going to excel.
Right, because it knows how to do that.
That's exactly it.
I'll tell you what it can't do.
What's that?
Play hockey.
Damn right.
Last night, the Las Vegas Knights won the Stanley Cup.
Golden Knights.
20 seconds remaining. The Golden Knights start to celebrate on their bench. The silver trophy to the Golden Knights.
I love that. I saw they were the second fastest franchise to ever win a Stanley Cup behind Edmonton.
3 years, right?
No.
4 years.
Took them 6.
6. Okay.
And then Edmonton, I think, originally when that franchise started, did it in 5.
Wow.
Also, I do like hockey. I say this every year around this time. Best trophy in sports. Hands down. Stanley Cup. Now, as you had 2 seasons end, I watched the NBA end on, Monday night, and then I watched that Tuesday night. That maybe I'm wrong here. It drives me up a wall. Hockey does it the correct way. Every other sport in every other country does it the right way. I don't understand why basketball, baseball, and football. Why do we give the trophy to the owner of the team?
No, I know.
It's
then the general manager, then the head coach, then everybody else.
Basketball was killing me. I was like, can you let those guys hold the trophy?
Right. They just did this.
Right. And with the Stanley Cup, that's what I like. First of all, it's hockey. So, and I get it. Not every sport. You're not going to do it after the Super Bowl. But I do like that they shake hands. It's kind of an old school thing, and on that level, especially you don't have to on that level, but it shows a sign of respect.
But even NBA, they shook hands after the game. I mean, they did,
you know,
right?
the Jokers shook everyone's hands.
They don't have, hockey's the only one I know it's like a thing. A series ends, everybody lines up, and you shake hands. And then the Stanley Cup's cool, but I was just watching it last night. I was like, this is so much better.
Yeah.
Now, granted, the players get it done on the field, but also, like, you want to see them celebrate. Now, I'm not, look, I get it. The guy that owns the team or lady, like, right, you put the money out, this and that, but it's just like, why do you get the trophy?
Sure. High school baseball, college baseball, they shake hands. When you get to the pros, they don't need to. For whatever
you
reason.
Shake hands at high school. That's what I'm saying. As a pro sport, hockey's the only one that makes a point of it after every series to do that. And in basketball, sometimes, you know, like, people get mad if a team
depends on the
series
personality
and walks off. I'm like, you don't have to. I mean, that's part of playing in the pros, right? It's like I remember in high school, right? It was like, hey, when you get to the pros, you can make it there. You can celebrate whatever you want, right? But it's like, right, you're in high school. Keep your helmet on. Because that was when Emmitt Smith kept taking off his helmet.
Right.
He goes, Smitty, you could pop your helmet off after a tackle. When you miss one, you better take that same damn helmet off. So that's what I'm saying. I like that hockey does it because that's one of the things. When you get to the pros, you don't have to do that stuff. But yeah, that trophy looks so cool. What would you guys put in it?
Beer.
Not beer. A lot of people put beer in it, drink out of it.
Huh. What would I put in it?
I put liquor pudding.
I was to say, putting in liquor pudding, buddy.
I've seen people put oysters in there.
Ooh.
I've seen hot dogs in there.
Ooh, shrimp, man.
Maybe a giant shrimp cocktail.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
giant
going all the way around the rim in the middle is just
That's what I'm saying. I think each player gets like 2 or 3 days with it.
Mm-hmm. Clams Casino.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's a little weird. But like, hey, man, if I get to hold on to it for a day, that's what's going in.
Thank you, Tim. We appreciate it. You're listening to The Men's Room.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. Speeding Florida cop gets pulled over by another officer. So what does he do? He decides to speed away. Meanwhile, an Illinois man has a strange reason that he can't come to work that day because he shot himself. He was sleeping. After two failed landing attempts, passengers asked for a different pilot to fly the plane. Having an Area 51 license plate is driving one Nevada resident insane. And to Philadelphia's historic Fort Mifflin, where someone stole a cannon. It's time for your headlines.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's my cop.
All right, our top story, a man from Minnesota. We did talk about this as a shot of the day. We've teased it twice now today.
I'm letting you finish the story.
A man from Minnesota managed to get away with a series of robberies, which he stole $12,000, and he didn't get to enjoy a dime of it. He robbed one bank that awarded him $8,000 and then got $4,000 in another situation. And after making his getaway and laying low for a bit, the man mistakenly left his loot inside of the car, which honestly, that would not be a mistake. That makes a whole lot of sense. You know what? We're going to let this thing cool off for a little while. We're going to let it go. Unfortunately, the car ended up stolen by a different thief.
Ooh.
Yeah.
But here's the beauty. He left that outside of a homeless shelter, okay? So he had $12,000 in cash that he stole.
Yeah.
He left it outside of a homeless shelter. The cops found that car later.
Yes,
it was abandoned, keys in the ignition, car still running. The tip-off was that there was red dye that exploded all throughout the car. So they realized they just assumed that was the getaway driver. But then he called to report the car stolen.
Correct.
Because he wanted to get his money back. And the cops were like, well, wait a minute. There's clear evidence that someone robbed a bank. The thing exploded. He said that he loaned it to a guy named CJ. And they're like, yeah, but also there's red dye. That's how they got him on one of the bank robberies.
Correct. So and he even mentioned, like, hey, man, I lost the whole $12,000 cash that was in there.
He called his brother in a prison.
Right.
His brother's in jail and made the phone call to say, yo, man, they stole the car. I have $12,000 in there I stole from banks. Quick note. Again, if you're going to be a criminal, bad. But if you're going to be a criminal, to make me not hate you, don't be stupid. So he called his brother in a prison to tell him he had knocked over 2 banks and that someone stole the car with $12,000. They have that recording. Do you know why? Because they record phone calls that you make.
Because he's in a prison.
When you talk to someone in a prison. They're like, Jesus Christ, man. Like, I do truly believe this in this country. We should also have a minimum of 18 months if we can add a stupid charge.
Yes.
So we're going to get you on the bank robbery, all right? But you called someone into jail, not believing it'd be recorded, confessed to your whole crime. Because you're stupid, another 18 months.
You, at this point, even as a criminal, are bringing us backward as far as evolutionarily speaking.
Yeah, like the point of committing a crime is to get away with it.
Correct.
So if you know you're being recorded, or let me rephrase that, if you don't know you're being recorded when you call a jail talking to a felon, because they want to see if they're going to admit something, right?
Right.
Like, come on, man. You're making us all look bad.
No matter what your chosen profession is, I want you to do everything that you can to be as best as you possibly can at it. And that includes looking at everything from every different aspect and having a plan for the future.
You know what the things we do in the studio that we don't post on Facebook?
100%. You know how much
We'll
damning evidence I have on video over here?
Right. That's why we treat Mike well and we don't contact the bosses.
Right.
Yes.
And we sweep up after every show with Lysol disinfectant.
And red.
And red. Oh, God. In other news, police in Illinois responded to a call that sounded like the work of Freddy Krueger. They got a call at nearly 10 o'clock at night with reports of a man that had a gunshot wound to his leg.
The man had lost a lot of blood and needed to be taken to the hospital for further care, but weirdness comes from where he got the wound. Turns out that he shot himself in a botched attempt to defend himself from an intruder that was in his dream. He pulled his .357 and mistakenly shot himself, waking himself up from the dream. He was dreaming that he had somebody in his house, grabbed his gun in real life. He just started sleepwalking, basically, and popped himself in the leg, which woke him up.
Maybe don't wear it on you.
Yeah, that'd be the best.
Like, was he sleeping with the gun?
Had to have been.
Had it on him.
Wait a minute. He was sleeping with like it in a holster?
Or was it like on the table next to him?
Right, was it on the table, under the pillow, in a drawer, under the mattress, something like that? Or was it actually on his head? No kidding.
Yeah, so I mean, if you have a history of sleepwalking,
don't go to sleep with a weapon.
Not on you.
Period.
Like, they literally make safes that open up like an old school lunchbox.
Right.
That's the whole point. You can keep it in your bedroom. It's in a safe. You literally punch in for an unnurse. You can grab it.
I know that. And even if you don't have the safe, you can keep it close to you for home defense, I understand, without it being on you, man. I wouldn't trust that, and I don't sleepwalk. I'd roll over and pop myself in the leg.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I don't care whose house it is. If I walk in, you got a firearm just laying on a table, like, I'm not going to be pleased.
No, you're insane. But that is it for your headlines. With that, Mike Hawkins out.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. We'll see you next time for Big Dummy. The head chef is back with Ted's Meat and Potatoes. The lovely Taryn Daly is up next.
Yes, indeed. It's all true. But in the meantime, well, we be all about this bitch for 180 seconds or so. So until then, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
This room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network.
Oh, man!
A Double Flush production.